Gonna start streaming. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Happy Wednesday is or Thursday. Today's Thursday. Why did I say Wednesday? It's not Wednesday. Why would I say it's Wednesday when it's not? Probably because I'm tired. But it's okay. We're going to have fun. We're going to have some discussions. If you're just coming in and you're watching from either TikTok or the YouTubes, please make sure you're liking, subscribing, you're sharing it out, you're tapping the screen, you're giving thumbs up, you're tapping and giving hearts and doing all the things. And yeah, let's get a little bit of a conversation going. Let's talk. I got a little bit of a different stuff up here. I'm actually going with Christianity is inappropriate. MAGA and Trump are a mess. Accepting the LGBTQ plus is good. I think I said supporting before, and people were having a lot of issues with that word support. They thought it meant like monetarily, and it's like no. Just accepting. Come on, accepting these people is a good idea. Let's accept people for being people, because we are all people, unless you're aliens, and if you are aliens, let me know, because hey, like I heard there's disclosure that's going to be happening, but I would just like to know if you're an alien or not, you know. Otherwise, yeah, if you're just coming in and you want to discuss, there is a little request button down here, a little pink and blue guy that you just click to request up. I can get you up on the show. Otherwise, if you're watching on YouTube, you can type in this little URL on the top here, tinyurl.com/deconcall, and I can get you on that way. Hey, Chopperly. What's going on, friend? I missed Joel and I missed Mezzo. I missed so much last night. I was tired, though. I had a lot of stuff that I was doing. Okay, we already got somebody here. Hello. Are you there? John? Is that you? John?
Yeah, sorry. Is my
Huh?
Hi.
I think
is
you're
that
good.
Better?
Yeah, you're good. Can I get your age just real quick?
Okay. 23, 24 in 2 weeks.
All right. Well, happy early birthday. Oh, thank you, Chopperly.
Thank you.
So what brings you on?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with anything that you put. I mean, I don't know if Christianity is inappropriate. I'm not religious or anything. I just haven't really thought about it that much. But I'm just curious, like, what your political leanings are. Because I see a lot of these lives, and I often don't know, like, if they are liberal, leftist, like, to what extent.
It's a good question, because with the way that the Democrats have been acting for the last year, 2 years, maybe even longer, I don't know if I want to call myself a liberal or a Democrat. I would say leftist for the most part, but as far as political leanings, like if I had to choose one, I would begrudgingly like vote Democrat because, well, it aligns more with what I would like for rights and just kind of, you know, we're seeing where the direction's going right now, and I think that this is something that I was shouting from the rooftops, you know, a year, 2 years ago. So it's not so easy to just say like, oh, I'm liberal, you know, or I'm a leftist, because there are things like fiscal conservatism that I don't necessarily disagree with. As an accountant / financial analyst myself, I get it, but I don't think that people on the right now or that consider themselves Republican are being fiscally conservative at all. So
Yeah, no,
that's kind of where I'm.
I completely agree. Like with all of
Do
that,
go.
I think to be like, I don't even think it's possible to be a centrist anymore, because I don't think like the right even has policy positions that you could, you know, mildly agree with, unless for
They
some reason
used
you
to,
love
I feel
that stuff.
like small
Yeah.
government, you know, and I'm okay with that. Like I think that too much government overreach is bad, right? But the people that are saying, oh, like that are supposed to be championing small government right now are doing things like sweeping bans federally, or they're sending in federal forces into places, or they're talking about AI surveillance on people, and it's like that's thank you everybody for all the love. That's not Republican to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think like particularly with just like following decorum and like adhering even a tiny bit to the Constitution has gone completely out the window. Um, and like yeah, I agree that like to some extent I can understand why people would be in favor of a small government, but like at this point in my life, like I was an economics major in college, and like I really don't see any use for a smaller government. I don't think that
Yeah, I mean,
realistically.
let me clarify what I meant there. So when I say smaller government, I mean that I believe in like some things like local, like municipality rights, state rights, city rights, county rights. I think that that is okay for certain things, but for some things like a federal law, or like governing body as a federal, like over grants, for instance, and like how grants work. I think that the federal government does okay when it's not Doge and Elon Musk like completely just screwing around. But
Yeah.
when I say like large government, I mean more so like surveillance,
Mm.
large sweeping bans, prohibition. I think that legalizing things that I can't mention on this app by state is fine. I even think that actually that could be a federal thing, but I could see where people might have a problem with that in certain areas or states. So
Okay.
it's a give and take. I don't necessarily like 100% think small government, because I think that if that were the case, then why do we have like a federal government at all?
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess my next question is, in terms of like market policy, do you see like capitalism as like a great thing? Are you socialist, communist? Like where would you
Mixed.
fall on
I
that?
would say mixed economy. So I think things like luxury items and luxury events or purchases, I think that is something fine that capitalism can be related to. When it comes to healthcare, public education, shelter, food, at a like basic level, I think that those are socialist and should be. I mean, we have a lot of socialist things: police forces, fire departments, roads. Well, not really
I
garbage.
said that
Garbage
on my
sometimes, but
last live, and the guy was like, "Roads are not socialist."
okay. Does he pave his own freaking roads, or,
He
or
was
or
he was a big individual freedoms guy. He didn't even believe in a minimum wage. But I find that to all be like immoral hogwash, to be honest.
yeah, if you want roads to not have potholes in it and you want it to be kept up, you're gonna have to bite the bullet, I guess, and call yourself a little bit of a socialist, because yeah, that's what your tax like money is going towards. Libraries. I think that we shouldn't privatize healthcare. I think that having a profit when it comes to like basic healthcare, uh,
Yeah.
elective things like plastic surgery, sure, make a profit. That's fine. These aren't necessary to keeping people alive. But when it comes to like people are not going to the doctor because they're so afraid of these inflated prices, like they're charging $9 for a band-aid, kind of thing. It's just ridiculous.
Sorry, can you cut out for a second, just the last 5 seconds.
Yeah, I was just saying, like with healthcare, privatizing healthcare, obviously, when it comes to things like basic healthcare, they inflate prices. There's obviously a profit, like that they're trying to work towards, and that's doing things like making it cost like $9 for a Band-Aid when you're like getting treated. And
Eddie, I'm not on my bot account. You need to mod me. You got some spammers that I can't.
Oh, okay. Mute.
Do you think that those bots, like, you think that that's someone, because someone has to be paying for that,
Either they're paying for it or they're hitting Control P, Control V a bunch and hitting enter.
Control P.
But yeah, so that's kind of where I stand. If you don't mind a moment here, I just want to classify or get Keen's in on the conversation here. Keen's, can I just get your age real quick, just for TikTok purposes?
25, and I'm a white male, so he, him pronouns, if that's what you want.
Oh, sure. Cool. Thank you. I do appreciate the pronouns. I tend to forget to ask that.
I call
Hi,
everyone
Mom.
dude because I never want to offend people. I'm like Hulk Hogan saying brother. So just saves any stress.
Yeah.
Also got to shout out John's Admiral Akbar profile picture. I'm a PK droid person myself, but Admiral
respect.
Akbar's badass.
Akbar.
But I agree with most of what you're saying. Like, I'm not. In 2016, I had hope that Trump would make politics different, but not in this way, like what he did. I wished it was like, I wanted him to be a politician that couldn't be bought or sold, but this guy might be the most bought or sold politician we have. Accepting LGBTQ, yeah, I'm pro everyone. Libertarians get a lot of hate, but I'll say I still identify as libertarian. I like the saying, you have the right to swing your fist until it reaches my nose, basically, is until you affect me or other people, do whatever the fuck you sorry do whatever the heck you want.
Yeah, you can say that. I don't mind the word fuck.
Do whatever the heck you want until it really affects me. And then my only, I guess, like, not a huge hang up, because I'm agnostic, I think there's really good and really bad with Christianity. When it comes to like giving back to the community, I think Salvation Army, which is like a Christian organization that does a lot of good for the community, or like in other, I would love if different organizations stepped up. But what it sucks is when it came to like giving vaccines to people in Africa or like building wells, the Christian community does do so much. So it's like there's really good Christians and then there's really bad Christians. So I don't like lumping the good with the bad, because it's hard, because some of the best people I've met have been Christian, and it's like, was it John Brown? He was like, basically, God basically said everyone's equal. I don't care what the government says, God said everyone's equal. And I don't even know if I believe in that God, but
right.
I still think there's positives and negatives that come to Christianity. But there are a lot of negatives with those positives.
Well, let me be a little bit more clear on why I'm saying Christianity is inappropriate. So there's a few levels onto why I think it's inappropriate. First off, the like gory image of a man that is like dying or unaliving, sorry, on a torture device or a device of unalivement, I think is just not something that should be just plastered all over, especially in a secular country. I believe in free speech and everything, but as far as like the prevalence of it and just the obvious, there's politicians that pray. There's a lot of like weird stuff that goes on when it comes to like how I live as a secular person. And how much I'm like exposed to when it comes to Christianity and like Christian imagery. And I think that alone is inappropriate beyond all of the like disgusting stuff in the Bible.
I think we agree. I think some extreme Christians use fear tactics as like, you got to believe this or you'll go to hell. Where I try, like, if I was a Christian, I would say God can forgive most crimes. God understands sin, but there are Christians that, if you're not the way I want you to be, then you're going to hell. So I think what's to me religion is so gray, where there's like I said, there's so much good, but there's also so much bad that goes with it that I don't know if I'd want to live in a world without religion, but I don't know if I'd want to live in a world with religion. Like it, I'm a fence sitter. I'll be honest. I don't know, and I don't feel like I have the right to tell someone unless they're harming someone. Like unless you're harming someone, I don't know if I have the right to tell you like you're
Right.
wrong. And this goes with every religion. Like like when it comes to some of like the Middle Eastern religions, I'm against like some of their age thoughts, when it comes to having a partner that's young. But other than that, like I can't tell you my God's better than your God. Buddhists, I can't tell you my God's better than your God. I really just want people to I like the Boy Scout rule, the golden rule. Leave it better than you found it and treat people the way you want to be treated. And that's I wish people lived like a Boy Scout, kinda.
Yeah. I don't think that like a world without religion is anything that's even like nearly like possible right now. Maybe someday. But as far as they like people practice their religion and like you said, they're not pushing it on other people or like blasting it everywhere and it's all over, or they're knocking on your door and you got to
Yeah.
put a shirt on, and answer the door and be like, what's going on? And then they're like, well, have you found that Jesus Christ, or would you believe that Jesus Christ is amongst you right now?
Dude, the Jehovah's were at my house basically every month. But at the same time, they were annoying. But my ex-girlfriend's grandparents were Jehovah's, and they just kind of kept it to themselves. We didn't celebrate
Right.
Christmas with them. We just celebrated present day. It wasn't even a celebration. There was still present day. They always found loopholes to it. They just believed what they believed, but they really didn't push it on anyone.
Yeah.
And then when you talk about, sorry, you go.
I was just going to say, and maybe, it's more of a thing where just the people themselves are just not, necessarily good people. And they're just using the religion as a vehicle to either control or punch down or what have you.
Yeah. I think one of my flaws with some people who are religious is there's a lot of people who say, where do you get your morals from, if not from God? And that just never made sense to me because, like, I don't have to believe in any God to treat people the way you want to be treated,
Right.
And there's people who use the stupid argument, well, what happens if I want to be murdered or beat up? Like, that's finding a loophole in the conversation. It's like, for the most part, people just want to be treated with respect, and that's it. But when it
Yeah.
came to you brought up like shit, what am I thinking of? I guess idealisms is something I also think about where I guess I'm pro-capitalism or like you said, a mixed economy. But
Mhm.
it's so hard when you talk to people who identify as communist because they compare an ideal communism system against a unideal capitalist system. Like, of course, perfect communism is going to beat our current system, but I also kind of like if you compare perfect capitalism with perfect communism, I kind of like capitalism because, like you said, there's certain luxuries that capitalism provide. Like, I don't know if in a communist system is plastic surgery allowed, or is that even worth it? Are water parks even worth it? Like some fun things, like is space travel even worth it in a communist system? And these are certain things that I think like capitalism provides, but it's so hard whenever you talk to like these online communist, which I'm not against. I think they come from a good place. It's just to me, it just seems so unrealistic. It seems so unrealistic to be a perfect communist. Where I would rather have perfect capitalism, where the trickle down system actually works. If you come up with a good idea, you should be rewarded for it.
Right.
But you shouldn't hog all your money. You shouldn't there shouldn't be bank famous like bank owners who have workers who can't afford to live. Like there's a Republican lady who went famous for she was talking about the wage that a bank teller makes, and a single mom should be able to afford childcare, food, renting, and we just don't live in a world where that's a thing anymore. But these bankers are giving themselves $1 million bonuses. I have a
Right.
flaw with that. But I still want people who come up with unique. I want there to be a motivation to make new things like and stuff like that. So I guess I would advocate for perfect capitalism over perfect communism. But I just don't think I don't think I guess black pilled kind of. I just don't think any of these systems are really gonna be
Yeah,
a thing. You know?
I think with like socialism slash, you know, like communist ways, like, so like perfect communism is actually stateless. It's moneyless. It's, you know, everybody is the labor, it holds all of the, you know, like means. So there's no like actual communist country like when it comes to 100% communism, you know. So they're all kind of is a bit of a mixed economy or a misnomer when it comes to like how they label themselves. I'm not also like an extreme economist to where, you know, I know everything. I kind of got a little dog walked by a Marxist Leninist a couple lives ago. But he was an asshole, and so he was really bad at communicating what he was trying to say. He was just like, "Oh, well, I'm right, and I've read all of the things, and I'm right, and you should just listen to me." And I was like, "Well, that's not a really good way to convince somebody." But
Can I jump in with a point here?
Totally.
yeah, and then I gotta cycle some people out. I'm looking for some ops here, so I'll let you guys like kind of have some like final points.
John, as long as it's not a trap. That's all.
Yeah, it can't be a trap.
Yeah, no, fantastic reference. I don't know if I'm a communist, to be honest. I still don't know. Like, I've read the manifesto, but I haven't. It's 40 pages, so I don't know how much you can absorb in 40 pages.
Right.
But I do think that I am a strong believer that workers should have more control over the means of productions, and I
Agreed.
personally would be willing to compromise and say not have water parks if that meant that all families could have proper food on the table and shelter and access to health.
Yeah,
I am
I would
willing
agree
to give up some fun in the world, and even space travel. Like, I love Star Wars, and that would be so dope, but like, I would rather have the baseline level of human prosperity be raised.
But
I get
have
what
you
you're
ever
saying.
gone on one of those cool raft rides?
I know, they're so dope. It's hard to give up.
That is hard. No, I agree with you though. The benefit, like, I would rather have foods and bellies than water parks. But I hope we live in a world where we could have both. You know.
right.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, hey guys, I appreciate the discussion. I think we did get a little bit into. I think we've agreed from the beginning. So I do appreciate you, and I do appreciate what you guys brought to the table. If I do ever have a topic that you don't agree with, please come up. But yeah. Trying to have a little bit of a opposition to a little bit of back and forth, respectful back and forth, so we can share ideas with people that we don't necessarily agree with. So
Good luck with that.
I'll hop out. I got a hot take for you after everyone's done, though, if you want to talk about it.
okay, yeah, I might let you back up here after a bit. Okay, thank you. Right. Dugald, yeah, you can be my co-host for the day.
That
you
works.
are more than welcome to stay. All right. What is this? Christ is Slife? Christy Slife.
Sir.
Christy Slife. Can I get your age? Christ? Christy?
28.
Hello?
Yeah.
You're cutting out real bad. Is it cutting out for you, Dugald?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, he's got a lot of noise going on. And you only got a few
wait.
bars.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You're cutting out. You've only got a few bars.
Yeah.
There you
Oh
go.
my
Try
gosh.
now.
Oh, can you hear me? Oh, yeah. All right, so I'm
I
28.
do hear you. Okay, now I can hear you. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay, you gave me your age, 28. What brings you up?
What do I want to talk about? Let's talk about Christianity is inappropriate. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, sure.
So we have to define what inappropriate is first, right? So to have a intellectually honest conversation, right? So inappropriate would mean, right, if we can come to some agreement, would mean that it is not according to social norms or is outside of social norms, right?
Not suitable or proper for the circumstances of, let's say, like, a typical American citizen.
Okay. And we can value that basically, like you said, for a typical American citizen. But if you look at the teachings of Jesus Christ, right? Wouldn't you say that most Americans, right, would agree upon the teachings of Jesus Christ
No.
Well,
if you polled them?
not necessarily. No.
Especially in this political climate with no new wars and all that kind of stuff. Would
Well,
you
that's
say
what
that's
most Christian like evangelicals. I would say that a large amount of the people that claim Christianity as like number one to them, they voted for the person that's getting us into a conflict with Iran right now.
Of course, and I think that I think it has a lot of bipartisan support. There's a lot of Democrats now that are against new the war in Iran, right? We could see that, especially on the progressive side of things, right? So we could see that not violence, non-violence and that's a key that Christ had.
I disagree with that. His entire premise is that when he comes back, he's coming with a sword. He said, "I did not come for peace."
Well, he
Yeah.
didn't.
But that's his teachings. His teachings are not teaching peaceful ways.
To be non-violent, to turn the other cheek, to not even be mad, right? I know you heard it said, tooth for a tooth and eye for eye, but just even being mad at somebody is liable to unalivement. So I think that's something that I think progressives and conservatives would agree upon. Also, with the Jeffrey Epstein thing that's happening, or is still happening, the files being leaked, or it has been leaked and it has been opened, you could see that bipartisan support for the Epstein files being released, right, is something that is very key, and protecting those who have been sexually abused. That's something that I think Christ would be
Let's pause for a
in
second.
agreement of, right?
Man, you got
Would you say
lot.
that?
There's so
Let's
much
pause for a
going
second.
on.
Okay.
Man, you got a lot.
Okay,
There's.
I gotta mute you.
Yeah,
Hey,
that was bad.
Christy Life, I'm gonna drop you just until you can get to like a more quiet area, and then feel free to come back up. I don't know what you were getting at with the Schmepstein stuff. I have no idea. Like, sex abuse
He's
happens
saying that
in the
it's-
Catholic Church all the time. So
Right, and I'm like, that's not even what Christ didn't teach anything about bipartisanship with Epstein files. Like, what?
not to mention, they were like literally telling soldiers that they were trying to bring about the end times by going into
The
Iran.
Holy
and-
War.
Yeah, all of these things. So that's strictly what, like, inappropriate, guys. Inappropriate. Happy days. Can I get your age real quick?
Yeah, 23.
All right. And what brings you up?
Yeah, let's talk about accepting LGBTQ plus is good. Is good just subjective in of itself?
See how it says change my mind?
Yeah, I'm
So
asking you
it's
a
good to
clarifying
me.
question. Okay, cool. How do you determine what is good?
The same way you do.
Wait, the same way you're just proposing this. I asked you a clarifying question here. Actually engage with it.
I did engage with it. I said the same way you do.
How do I determine what is good then?
Subjectively, just like me.
Okay, cool. So if it is the case, everything is subjective then, right? If an individual wants to
Do you
harm
think
someone,
you're the first person to ever come to this live and try to run the like objective moral argument?
nope.
Can you prove to me that morality is objective in any way?
Wait, at any point did I say morality is objective?
Well, if it's not subjective,
I'm
then what
going
is
off of
it?
your worldview right now. If you
Okay.
want to go with my worldview,
Why are you being
I-
rude? Hey,
I'm not
what is
being
your problem? Calm
I'm not
down.
being rude.
You
I'm
are
sorry.
being rude when you are interrupting what he's saying, and you're not letting him finish his comments or his statements or his questions. Relax.
Right.
This is not, you're not winning a prize.
Right. This is not meant to be like a W, right? This is meant to be a discussion where people explain their views, and it's a free exchange of opinion, and maybe we could perhaps find some middle ground and progress, right? Instead of trying to argue whether or not morals are justified in some sort of way other than subjectively.
Wait, you're just proposing something. You said to me, oh, well, you're not the first one that came in here saying morals are objective. You don't know my argument
What
first.
is with the snide
Okay.
attitude?
All right,
Like,
let's
what is
pause.
that?
Yeah, hold
Hold
on,
on a
hold on.
second.
Let's
Let me finish
stop
my
with the let's pause. What is your argument?
Wait, I'm going with your worldview right now. I'm trying to see if your worldview is consistent.
I can guarantee you it is, and my worldview is that my consideration of what is good is based off of axiomatically, like what we as humans would consider as moral agents, subjective moral agents, right? Harm reduction,
Harm is
furthering.
subjective.
Hmm?
Harm is subjective.
Yeah, and
No.
I said that this is a subjective thing.
Okay, cool. So if someone says that their arm getting, this just said, taken off, and they think that this is good, how do you determine what is harm?
Oh my god, the snarky attitude.
Do you need a definition of what harm is?
You're proposing that this is to be the case. I'm asking you to prove this. You said we
Prove.
go off of harm reduction, everything like this. Cool. What is harm?
So like harming in by not accepting the LGBTQ, for instance, in my own personal experience, right? I am not a hetero man, right? I went 26 of my years of my life lying to everybody, telling them that making it seem like I was not homo, right? So I don't want that for other people. I think that that's bad because I, by my own experience, did not enjoy lying to everybody. Once I finally came out, I felt good. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it doesn't, because there are pathological liars and at the same time bad for other people. Still, right? We can look at certain people, especially where they like harming other people. It could be mentally, physically, whatever the case.
Yeah.
Do you have to talk in the condescending attitude?
Yeah, I'm engaging with the host right now.
Yeah, and you're being very
put the recording-
condescending while you do it, and I don't understand why you feel you
Yeah,
have to
it's an
do that
AV
in order to get your
conversation.
point across because it's really snarky for no reason.
Snarky is subjective, sorry to tell you.
Yeah, I understand that, and you're being snarky. We can tell.
That's what you think.
Okay, so where is any of the objectivity, right? So like where's the objective?
I'm seeing your worldview right now. I'm seeing if it's being consistent
but you
and
keep
how it's logically
mentioning
possible.
that things are subjective, right? Like, oh, that's relative, it's subjective. So it might not be snarky to me if I'm snarky, but if the
Off of
whole
your
chat,
worldview, it's
let's take a poll. Hey, chat, one's in chat if you think he's snarky.
Guess
Sorry,
what,
I'm
that still
assuming
is.
he. Do you go by he or is it?
No,
what's your
I do
pronouns?
not.
What's your pronouns?
Yeah, Caesar.
Caesar. Okay, sorry, my
Yep.
apologies. Oh, we see some ones in chat here.
Oh,
So
guess what that
axiomatically, we could take a majority
Objectively.
rule, and we can
Wait, that's
set
just
an
the only-
objectivity. Can I finish? So
That's a-
we can set objectivity by creating an axiom, right? So the group of
That's
people
false.
here that are, how is that false?
Yeah, this is just an appeal to majority here. If majority of
No,
the people
what I'm saying is
own
axiomatically. So if we all agree what snarky means, and if we all agree that you are being snarky, then we are now objective.
people, that's not objective.
We
Define
set,
objective.
you
real
can
quick.
set objectivity by creating a baseline, right? The baseline
Wait, who
being
determined that?
right now it would be the chat.
Wait, so this is false because objectivity is going to be without a human state of mind. Second, when it comes to the situation taking place,
False.
yes,
That's not objectivity.
yes, it is. Look at the
And
philosophical
dependent on a mind. Nobody say anything about a human mind.
Stance
Without a human-
independent is what it
Wait,
means.
it's without a human state of mind. To be very precise here.
Yeah, but
Because
that's when it comes exactly to like complete, like universally objective, right? What
He's
I'm saying is
adding-
we are axiomatically setting an objective
Define axiomatic real
baseline.
quick.
Agreed
There-
upon.
Agreed upon. Okay, cool. So if everyone in here axiomatically agreed upon owning someone is perfectly fine, does it make it right?
If they all consider it to be, and they define right to be what they agree upon right to be, then sure.
Okay, cool. So under your worldview, if everyone agrees upon owning someone is permissible, it's the case that it's okay. Right?
Yeah, but does everybody agree upon that?
It doesn't have to be the case because we can look at other societies that already determine this to be the case. Are there not societies today that own people?
Yeah, there are societies that own
Okay,
that
cool.
consider people
So then
property.
if it is the case, right, where one individual, everything is subjective, right? One individual versus another individual, whose morals should we go with in this case? Is it the
Okay,
one that has
so
the greater
here's
force?
where you're making the mistake. You're trying to force subjectivity into objectivity. You're making an objective sentence by like forcing subjectivity into it. Like you're saying if everybody or if one person thinks it's right and one person thinks it's good, then who is right? Who is right is a subjective statement, right? It does there. It's the person is right to themselves on both sides. So it's subjective. Like that's exactly what subjectivity means.
And who should
So
we
so
go with?
why would you make an objective statement about something that's not objective? That's like putting a
Wait.
square peg in a round hole, right? There's just no way that's like a fallacy just of like non-identity, right?
That's
You're making
false.
a complete contradiction. You're saying that objectivity is subjectivity, and I am disagreeing with that.
Wait, you said this is a what analogy, or at the same time, what type of argument did you say? Of identity? That's false, because if we're talking about identity, this is going to be in of itself. When it comes to the situation taking place, we can look at two different societies. United States
Can
versus...
two things be true, like if they are contradicting each
I'm
other?
trying to finish my statement.
Can
The law
two-
of contradiction here? Or are we appealing to that now?
Yeah, any kind of like logical like law here. Like you're identifying
going
subjectivity as objectivity. You're saying that if one person thinks something is right and another person doesn't, who is right objectively? And like that's you're trying to like frame subjectivity in objectivity. And like I said, that's like putting a square peg into a round hole. And I don't understand why you have to have such an attitude, dude. Like I'm not one to tone police, but goodness.
I said earlier, his snark is getting on my fucking nerves.
Yeah, so then mute and then let me debate the host then. When it comes to the situation...
I have to hear you.
Yeah.
You're being a snarky bitch.
Go away. It's very simple. So when it comes to the situation of the law of contradiction here, and you're saying that the two individual morals are subjective, right? I'm saying as a third party in this situation, you can't say...
Who's the third party?
Yeah, you in this situation.
Me?
If there's two different groups of people where one believes owning people is wrong and then the other one believes that owning people is right, when it comes to the situation, you can't say one is about the other one, can
No,
you?
I would go with who I agree with, and I would say the person that says owning people is wrong is the person that is correct.
Itself would be consistent to each other.
It's
So
consistent to subjectivity. You're trying to frame this in an objective, like moral framework, and that's not possible, right?
You're possible.
Turning. How do you turn subjectivity into objectivity?
Do you know what solipsism is, or I need to explain this to you?
What?
Do you know what solipsism is, or do I need to explain this to you?
Go ahead and explain to me what solipsism is, please. You're being so kind.
Yeah, I got you. So everything is connected to the human state of mind so we could have a reality. In of itself, you can't prove the claim that if all humans disappear today, right now, right, the moon wouldn't be here tonight. You can proclaim or based off of statistics in the past, but that's still subjective because humans were here. When it comes to the situation taking place, it's either the case that if it is objective, you're going to have to prove that this is objective, which you tried proclaiming, well, wrong, harm, and everything like that. Yeah, this is bad. Okay, cool. Batch just indexed to what you feel like instead of it being in something that's objective the case.
I never claimed anything was objective when it comes to bad or good.
Wait,
so what are you talking about? You're completely misrepresenting what I'm saying.
Wait, hold up a second. Define good then.
Good is what I determine as good.
Wait, you determine as good. Okay, cool.
For
Don't
me,
use the word.
This is why it says change my mind.
Yeah, don't use the
I
word
think
inside of
that
the definition.
accepting the LGBTQ plus is good. That's
Wait,
a
don't
moral
use the word
statement
inside of.
according to my subjective morals. And my morals are derivative of my learned experience, my DNA, maybe a little bit of evolution, survival traits.
Cool. Can you define good without using the word inside of it?
Positive,
Positive? Okay, cool. Who determines what is
progressive.
positive? Are you a moral realist?
No, I'm not a moral realist, because a moral realist would be into, like, they would argue for objective morality, right? A moral non-realist is okay. Then please explain to me what does a moral realist believe in?
Yeah, there's different types of moral realists if we're looking at the situation taking place. One is going to say that it's subjective and they're going to use some type of utilitarian aspect here, right? Saying, oh, well, harm, we can just see the situation subjectively from the experience that I've been presented or anything like this, where we shouldn't do unnecessary harm to other aspects here.
Okay,
You could
so
argue it from objectivity,
all right,
but that's
you're
going to be a whole
going
other
on. Let's look up at the definition, and I'll let you back up once I read it here. It says moral realism is the meta-ethical view that objective moral facts and truths exist independently of our beliefs, feelings, or attitudes. So where in my subjective explanation about morals am I a moral realist? And how does a moral realist not believe in objective morals or truths? No, I dropped you because you go on and you're being condescending as hell. So if you want to come back up, you're more than free to. Thank you.
definition of moral realist.
Hmm?
Who coined it? Since we wanted to go this route.
Is this a trivia like contest? Is this Jeopardy?
Wait.
I'm sorry. Did
Wait,
I
you're the one that pulled up
walk
the
into a
definition?
Jeopardy stage?
Wait, you pulled up the
Are we trying to like
definition.
have a pissing contest at who knows like who
No,
coined
you made
what?
a claim. I'm about to prove my claim. That's the whole point of this. Ready? Who coined the definition?
Kant? I don't know.
Kant? Wait, say that again?
Immanuel Kant?
Okay, cool. How did he define this?
Wait, did I get it right?
No.
Okay, then who was it?
I can get the name. Give me a second. I have a whole page on him.
Oh, okay. Let's just all just give dead air to Happy Days here while they teacup and own me.
Why does Happy Days sound so unhappy?
I honestly cannot stand like Phil Bros. It is all they're trying to do is get a W over some weird like logical argument, and I'm like not here for it. I'll tango with you until we can finally get into like an actual discussion, but like what I want to talk about is whether or not accepting the LGBTQ plus is either good or bad to them, and if I should change my mind. So I would really appreciate.
So it's David Hume that came up with this.
Oh, David Hume. Okay, I was close.
So,
I was close.
No.
Kant and Hume are pretty close. They're 4-letter words.
Okay, if you wanted to do that, even
sure.
With the situation
but can we address the actual topic?
Happy Days. God
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah. I'm
Can we
still
address
waiting
the
for
actual
the
topic?
Yes. Yeah. So when it came to the situation taking place, when it comes to moral realism, it's going to be subjectively. You're able to argue this from subjectively and at the same time objectively. It comes down to the type of moral realist you are. Kind of, for example, libertarians. There's different types of libertarians. Would you agree with this?
I don't want to like entertain this conversation because you're completely contradicting yourself. First of all, moral realism is based on objective truths and the like affirmation that truths are objective and morals are objective. That's what morals are real, right? Like if all humans were to pass away, like you mentioned earlier, morals would still exist somehow.
I didn't say pass away. I should disappear. There's
disappear.
There you go.
If humans disappeared, would morals still exist?
Would morals still exist? No.
Yeah. Okay, then you are not a moral realist either.
At no point did I say I was, but when it comes to moral realism or the truth aspect here, that's determined by reality. Reality is indexed to humans, which, guess what? That's subjective. That's how you can argue from a subjective experience from moral realist.
Okay, so is accepting the LGBTQ plus good to you or not?
Bad.
Okay, why?
Why? I would just say, based off of a P1, P2, then the conclusion. Are you ready for this?
Sure.
P1. If a male and a male had intercourse together, they cannot add someone to the population, kind of like the same way as a woman and a woman adding to the population. They cannot do this without outside of factors. P2. There is no medical conditions for a male and male or a woman and a woman together not to be able to have children. Conclusion. They are useless to adding to the population. So no.
When did I mention the population at all?
Wait, you asked me if this is good or bad,
Okay.
and then I asked. So
Well,
I'm giving you.
All right. Well, then I disagree because I think that adding to the population isn't necessarily good or bad.
Wait, it's a neutral?
To me,
Oh, it's to you. Okay, so
actually, to me, I'm actually a bit of a anti-natalist. I think that adding people to the world is just suffering. So, like preventing them of that suffering, is good.
wait, preventing you from like future suffering by me unaliving you, is that good?
No, I'm saying because I'm already like here, right? So that would require like an actual act of harm that you would have to put
Wait,
on
that's
me.
just special pleading then. You're just special pleading to location and at the same time
Dude,
like
I
awareness.
really like. This is
I'm sorry
not,
you don't know how to debate. Or
No,
at the
this
same
is
time
not
have a-
like. Do I need
Isn't
to
a
put
debate.
no
Why haven't you
Philbros
gotten
here?
that
Let me just put a little add to this prompt here.
You
change
got
my
this,
mind.
host. I believe in you. You said
Change-
you lied to everyone for 26 years about being gay.
Yeah,
I believe in you.
about being straight is what I lied about.
Oh, about being straight. Okay. Hey, wait. How do we know that you're not lying about being gay?
Oh my god. He thinks he thinks he's putting you in a gotcha because he still thinks this
if you
is a
want to
debate.
believe that I'm lying, go right ahead. That doesn't change the fact that I'm gay. Okay.
Wait, who determines if you're gay? Is it the individual self?
I determine if I'm gay.
Okay.
Actually, technically, my genetics, my
Individuals
chemistry, my
get to determine if
physiology,
you're gay.
and my
If
chromosomes and my chemicals do.
Wait,
You know.
yeah, show me the gay gene then. If you're saying that the chemistry are at the same
I
time,
didn't say there was a
genetics,
gay
there's no
gene. If
such
you actually heard what I said there's a multitude of things, and genes are not just one of them.
Wait,
Thank
you said
though.
genetics, did you not? Did you
Yes,
not say
and there's not a
genetics?
gay gene.
Cool.
Again, if you
Cool,
knew
so
about
don't say
these
genetics
things,
then.
you would not have to sit there and try to ask that question when what I said was it is a combination of things, including genes, not genes, plural.
Yeah, what
right?
genes make you
Plus
gay?
chemistry, physiology. You would have to go and look that up, sir. I am not going
Wait,
to do
you
that
made the
for
claim.
you. If
Happy
you,
days.
no. Again, this is not a debate. Happy. I don't know why you don't
if it's
seem
a
to understand
conversation.
that. Happy. We're having a conversation. Happy.
Even if it's
But
a
you being
conversation,
unhappy can't
burden of
seem
proof
to
is
stop
on
being
you.
a snarky bitch long enough
Yeah.
to understand what
Aw.
anybody's
Are
fucking
you in your
saying.
PPs? It's fine.
Jesus
But no,
Christ.
when it
What
comes
is
to-
No,
wrong
we're
with you
trying
people?
to have like an actual like humane discussion here. Like I said, a free exchange of opinions, right? We don't need to establish whether or not somebody is logically sound. We don't need to
Yes,
figure
we do.
out if
You were up
morals
here acting like
are.
you're in the Philbro Grand Prix. You're not
Yeah.
winning anything here. Calm down.
Yeah, this isn't
Fuck.
freaking I don't know, another YouTube channel that's trying to do logical debates and philosophy and all of that shit. I'm just trying to say that overall, from my experience, like letting people like explore their own journeys is good. You know, like figuring their things out and not like expressing a heteronormative society and forcing people to you know, lie based off of social, you know, pressure.
Wait, who forced you to lie? You're saying society did?
I felt, at least I felt forced by society.
Oh, okay. You felt forced based off of society. Can you prove that that's the case?
Yeah. that I felt forced?
Yes.
Can a person like explain what they feel?
No, you would have to prove that
See,
society
you're
is
the fucking
actively...
solipsist.
No. See, if, for example, right, if I say I
Dude,
felt forced based
you're
off
the
of society
solipsist.
to join the
Sorry,
military,
I didn't mean to say
that's
dude.
false.
I don't know what the like gender like not
Zeezer.
Zeezer,
Yeah,
but
Zeezer.
but what would be like the Zeezer
Yeah, so
version
for
of
me, if we're using an argument here, I could say I feel forced by the US government to go back to war. Oh, wait, I signed a contract for this situation. So it's going to be the contract aspect here to be able to prove the claim here. You made a claim. I want you to prove the claim.
My goal as a child was to get married and have a family. Now, was that my goal, or was that a goal that was set to me based off of society's expectations?
Yeah, that could be your goal.
Okay, so I found out that I don't actually want that. I did not actually want a wife and children. I wanted to be myself. So why is that?
Because your morals or your goals can change, can they not? Are we in a rush?
Please be in a rush. Please be in a rush.
Yeah, are you busy? It sounds to me like you're with somebody else and you're in a rush. So
Please be
I mean,
busy.
I don't want to be rude.
Wait, he's saying, are we in a rush? No. So when it comes to the situation taking place, right, goals can change, can they not?
Yeah, goals can change.
Okay, so with the situation taking place, it could be the case that your goal changed, and you're just proclaiming that this is based off of society.
Are you saying that that I went from wanting a wife, like because I desired a wife, like physically, and beyond, to not desiring that, like by choice?
Yeah, it could have been very much just your choice. Could have not.
Is it a choice to be gay?
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, you choose who you sleep with, do you not?
Sure, but that doesn't necessarily mean you don't have to like sleep with somebody to be gay, right?
I don't agree with that. It's going to be based off your actions. Yeah, I'm going to say it's based off your actions. Not
so you're saying that if as long as you're celibate, you could desire men as much as you want, but as long as you don't sleep with them, then you're not gay?
Yeah, technically, if we're going off of it, yes.
I don't know what world you're living in, man.
That is crazy. Crazy.
How do you determine? Wait, hold up a second. How do you determine if someone's gay? Would you say based off of their attraction?
Same-sex attraction. Natural same-sex attraction.
Hold up a second. Let's go with this, right?
Attraction.
So if I claim, right, that the host is hot as hell, he's beautiful, everything under the sun, that I want to sleep with him, does that make me gay automatically?
It's a gay statement.
Yeah, that's a gay statement. That's mutual same-sex attraction. That would literally be the definition of gay. Good job.
Hold up a second. That's just the appeal to fallacy there. It's an appeal to
No, that's literally the definition of being gay.
Wait,
Same-sex.
I don't care what fallacy.
Why does that matter? I don't care about your definitions. That's what the fucking world means. I don't care about your definitions. Oh my God, dude, you and your fallacies and your fucking Filbro bullshit. Pay attention to reality.
Wait,
if you find me
same-sex
attractive,
attraction is being gay.
Yeah, if you find me attractive, I mean, I just find you just, you know, a normal person because I feel like everybody does.
Wait, so in this situation taking place, if you find someone handsome, does that make you gay?
I said attracted, not handsome.
Wait, hold up a second. So if I say the host is hot or he's good looking, right? Is that gay?
Depends on the context.
That's the context right there. Engage with it.
If you're saying he's hot as in you just recognizing that he's handsome, sure. No, it's not necessarily a gay thing. However, if you're saying that because you have an attraction to him, then yes, that is gay.
Wait, no, if you say hot or any situation like that.
If you're saying hot, that's implying attraction, not just that they're handsome. That's implying
You're
attraction.
proclaiming that this does.
Hey, Mom.
You're proclaiming that me saying he's hot has some type of
nobody claims no straight man or bi man goes that person is hot, or any gay man says that person is hot without actually having attraction there. They would sit there and say no. They would say, stop a second, just fucking listen. God damn, dude. If you just listen, you would get the answers to half the shit you ask. God. Now,
I don't think he's I don't think Z's here for that purpose. I think they're just actually trying to be contrarian.
they're here to debate, and that's all there is to it. Like,
I don't
I'm
even know
literally
if they're
telling you,
debating in good faith. I think they're just being contrarian.
nobody who has the sexual orientation of straight is going to tell another man that they're hot unless they're just jazzing them up. Now, if you're doing it because you genuinely think he's hot and you have an attraction, that would make it a gay statement. So yes, it would depend on the subjectivity or the context of the thing, of the statement. But you just proclaiming it out of nowhere would imply an attraction.
That's false because you're
It's
proclaiming.
not false.
It is. Let me
Nobody
finish
just
my
randomly
statement. Let me
proclaims
finish
somebody's
my
hot
statement.
without some type of attraction.
Yeah,
in
can I finish my
reality,
statement?
nobody does that without some kind of attraction.
Can I finish my statement now?
Fuck.
Cool. So when it comes to the situation taking place, men do this all the time. You can look at the situation taking place in a fucking gym.
I've never seen a man proclaim another man as hot for no fucking
Dougal.
reason whatsoever.
Honestly, I would say that there is a little bit of homosexuality then, you know, like if you are attracted, even at like a smaller level, I would still say that is like slightly gay.
Slightly gay? Who determines what is gay then?
I'm determining it right now.
Okay, cool. If you're determining it to be
Same-sex
right?
attraction.
I'm so
That's
done.
what the
I'm
fuck it
so
means.
done. I'm so done with Happy
Damn.
Days. Like I was so done a while ago, but
So if it's 80 degrees out and a guy's sweating, a man can't say that man is hot, as in he's hot, as in overheating.
honestly, they would have said like something like, "Oh, that's a fallacy of category error," something stupid.
Yeah, you're right. You know,
They were being very, very contrarian. Like
that's
no
what
matter
they
what,
always do that.
yeah, no matter what was going to be brought up, they were going to try and just debate it because
So they're
that's the
right
whole point.
fighters more than anything. They just want to be right instead of listen to
Yeah,
alternative dialogue.
they're trying to win, and that's not the point of what's going on here. Like there's not any like winning or losing, right? These are things that are not quite like rigid. So but I do appreciate you coming up. I see you, Doodle. Do you have anything that like did you agree with the statements above, or if you have anything that you don't agree, you can have something that you can say.
Right. I can't see what the statements are right now because you made it so tiny. I'm not sure what it even says.
It just says MAGA and Trump are a mess. Accepting the LGBTQ plus is good, and Christianity is inappropriate. Change my mind.
Well, I agree that Trump is a mess. I don't think the LGBTQI is good at all, and Christianity is something that is individual. It shouldn't be forced on people. And so there's just a big amount of things that I think are, need to have public dialogues so everyone learns that other people may not believe in what they think they believe in related to what's being forced and pushed. Christianity, in my opinion, has a lot of Sharia law in it, and I say there is an element. You do?
I agree. Yeah. Like Christian nationalism, where they say that women should wear head coverings, that they shouldn't be working, that they are only baby factories, more or less, that they should be staying at home and raising kids, is akin to Sharia law.
I've been hearing that from the right wing, our party. They've been saying that, which is, I think, the Christian nationalism you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like them as much as I don't like the extreme left. I don't like the extremes on either side.
Sure.
And
I get that.
And that's our country actually fights. We send people to foreign nations to fight for rights in our own country and to help these other people maybe see things a different way.
And we get blamed for it.
You're right. We get blamed for it, and that's what's happening right now. Africa does that. Africa is
Why
really
do you think?
Well, hold on. Actually, Kenzie, can I just get your age just like real quick?
Yeah, I'm 26.
Okay. That's all. Go on.
I just want to preface by saying I am MAGA,
Mhm.
and I see you Doodle apparently just agreed with me that when we go to these foreign countries to establish civility, we get blamed when we're there because apparently we're not supposed to be there and keep your nose out of other people's. And then when we're not there, we're blamed because we're not using our resources to help all these other people. Like, we can't win. So, like, this war that's going on right now, sorry, WAR conflict. I don't know if I can say
You can
that
say
on here.
war.
I
I think.
apologize.
I believe you can.
Okay.
You're fine to say it as
Okay.
long as whatever. Okay. So here's my why this is a mess, though. Okay. So MAGA and Trump,
Well,
they ran on a ticket that said no new wars, that we don't want to be the world's police, and that it's America first. When I hear the words America first, well, the first thing that comes to my mind is the American Socialist Party that called themselves the Schnazis of America. But beyond that,
what?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
where the term comes from. Like,
Yeah, that was originally where
the
it started.
American.
When I think of America first, I think about us being able to.
Well, I'm just saying that's
protect
what
our
comes to my
country
mind as
and
a
enhance the lives of our
historian.
citizens.
So like
Well,
the
like, how
origins
can you
of the term America First, like that slogan, was from the American Schnazi party.
But we're not in a new war. There's been conflict going on with Iran for a long time. Donald Trump is just
We
the first
initiated.
president to do something with it. No, we didn't. They had
did.
missiles ready to be launched
No,
to hit
there was
Florida.
no
The state
evidence
I
of that.
currently live in that would have hit us.
They were enriching
Lindsay, hold
uranium.
on.
They did not have nukes.
Being interrupted. So
The intelligence community, including Tulsi Gabbard, the world intelligence community, the U.S. intelligence community, and Tulsi, all said they were nowhere near having nuclear weapons. There were no nukes. And last
So
year,
Donald Trump just
hold
said-
on, I'm not done yet. Hold on.
I
And
wasn't
then
done yet either. But go ahead.
but last year, Trump said that they had completely obliterated any nuclear options that they had. They had obliterated it with that strike they did. There was no chance, he said, for them to ever have it. Here we are a year later. Intelligence community all said, no, they don't. Trump still has a strike anyway, starts us in a war. How is that not starting a war?
So we're just like, first of all, I never said it wasn't a war. I actually was the first person that admitted that it is a war. Not even acknowledged and
you
said.
Just like a few minutes ago. You just a few minutes ago said that this wasn't a war. I'm not saying it is or isn't. It's not an officially declared one.
I remember I asked you. I said war or WAR. What can I say? And you said you couldn't say war in here. And I said
it's not a new war, right?
Yeah,
not a new
it's
war.
Not, it's not new.
Yeah, new
well,
war.
technically, the Middle East seems to be
an
extension from Russia. And
I'm really sorry. I just want to be able to finish a sentence. Like, I don't want to be an idiot like that last guy. I mean, that was painful. I was fucking wanting to scrape the skin off of my face. But like, and that's the thing I like to do. Because I am MAGA, but I'm also very aware of the fact that like Donald Trump is not a god. He is absolutely fallible, capable of making mistakes, probably doesn't have the best rap sheet, but he's doing a really damn good job of running the country, at least with the 3 specific reasons why I voted for him.
He has 34 felonies. He's been found guilty. He has 34 felonies and he's been found guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Nothing I don't already know. Anyway, I don't think that it's fair for us to say that this is necessarily a new war, and that in and of itself is an example of why he's a bad president. Because if we had shit going on in other countries, which there are, and we're not there, we're either blamed that we're not there, or we blame that you are there and you shouldn't be there. So which is it? We can't win either way. And I'm sorry, but I have a hard time believing that every single person that didn't vote for him or that did vote for him receives the information that they have on these other places. Because how are you supposed to know the true reason of what's going on and why are you there or not, which would include me, so I can understand. However, like, how can you say that there's no, we're just like, so why are we there then? We're just for fun? Like, Donald Trump thought it'd be funny to like do this shit? Like, do you think there's no purpose?
There's almost a consensus
MAGA
over
and the celebrities to the Middle East. MAGA and the celebrities can go to the Middle East and fight the war. Since they started it on TV, they need to finish it.
How did we start it? They didn't. They started this. This has been going on for like 50 years.
Well, you guys wanted to keep the garbage going on media, so send the celebrities. They can go pick up their guns and they can go over there and fight.
So Sabrina Carpenter, who said that we shouldn't have ICE, you want to send her?
We
should send her, Billie Eilish.
Every last one of them, because they're always bitching
Taylor
and moaning
Swift.
about they don't want to. Yes, she can go too.
All right,
send
guys, hey,
this is going nowhere.
I don't think I disagree with the person that was just shouting very loudly. So Kenzie, let's just keep this kind of like one-on-one here.
Okay.
Now, the like argument that you just made about how if we aren't helping out in other countries, then we're getting yelled at, but if we are intervening in other countries, then we're getting yelled at. I would say that
Correct.
the intervening that you're referring to are, like bombing and like aggressive tactics, right? I would say that helping, maybe are you like referring to like USAID, like the aid that we provided to other countries that got cut?
No, I think we should do what we can to help these other countries. I just feel like we have a lot of things going on wrong in our own country. So in addition to Trump handling this current situation, he's doing a really good job managing all the other situations that we have, because I didn't vote for him.
I don't see that. I don't see that being reflected. I don't see that being reflected.
Anyway,
the Trump explained that he was going by day one that gas prices were going to go down, eggs were going to go down. Eggs did go down because the bird flu, was the reason why eggs went up. Gas is through the roof right now.
Prices will go down after this is
prices
over.
haven't gone down. They're only going up.
It's not
there's
over
a lot
yet.
of market manipulation that is happening. On Friday, just last Friday, Trump said that
I didn't vote for him because
I'm
of
sorry.
his
You were just complaining about being interrupted, and now you're interrupting me.
because you originally interrupted, but go ahead.
So, on Friday, Trump was just saying that they were going to explode all of these power plants and that there was no peace deals. And then on Monday of just this week, apparently he lied because the Iranian officials have denied this, but he said that there are peace deals that are going on. Just today in the news, Trump is now lying again. Well, he made a 12-point peace offer. And then he said that if you don't take this peace offering, it's going to be the end of you, which doesn't sound very peaceful. So, and that's what I mean by a mess, right? Because Trump is just not consistent whatsoever. He ran on a ticket that was anti-interventionalist in all regards, right? I would say that not providing aid, cutting the USAID would have been consistent with his ticket, but him intervening in Iran at the behest of Israel is not consistent with what he was running on. That is not America first. That is not no new wars. That is war-like conflict. What he did in Venezuela, I would say, is an act of war by going in and kidnapping their. I don't care if the leader is democratically elected or not. I don't know why people that once used to say that we aren't the world police now think we are. The inconsistency is what is a mess.
Well,
and that's what I mean. Be consistent. That's what I'm asking. Of MAGA and of Trump is, please, for the love of God, for markets to be healthy, we need consistency. Right now, the markets are so volatile because one day Trump will say one thing in one extreme, and then the next he will tweet something completely opposite. And those things are disrupting our everyday lives. These are disrupting our prices in every single way that you can think of. Gas prices, the price of goods, and everything. The reason why a lot of people didn't like Biden, I think, is because he was, consistent and boring, right? He wasn't in the news every single day like Trump is. A president is a civil servant. Civil servants are meant to be boring. We should not be having a president in our news their name mentioned every single day. A president should be doing their work, and when they do it well, it's like you don't even notice it, you know? And that's where I think a good leadership that isn't messy should do. That's the end of my statement.
Sorry?
That's the end of my statement.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah. And I hear you. And I want to come to these conversations with good faith because I know how it can look to people on the left. And I'm actually, let me start with this. I voted for him for 3 very specific reasons. And none of them have to do with the economy. None of them have to do with foreign affairs, the military, nothing. Because I'll be honest with you, I am not as well educated on those topics as I should be to formulate an opinion that's based off of research. I just haven't had I don't want to say like an interest in it, but like money doesn't matter to me as much as the 3 reasons why I voted for him. And, obviously I want our country to be represented well. And I think that he is doing that, although, we're the laughing stock of the world. Yeah, well, then, if everybody hates living here, why aren't they leaving? America is the only country where even those that hate it refuse to leave. And it's terrible in these other countries. We don't realize how blessed we are. I was just in China last summer for some reason. I don't know why. My sister wanted to go for this educational mission trip. I'm like, okay, whatever. But it was like the worst thing ever. And I just compare my experiences with those people in those countries to how we are here, and we're so blessed, and we bitch and we complain and we unalive our children and we are fucking insane. There's things that are happening that we need to put into perspective. The first reason why I voted for him was the work that he did in getting Roe v. Wade overturned. That needed to happen, and we need to have limitations on what these women think that they have a legal right to do. The second reason is the EO that he said he would pass, which he did, which stops children from being physically and chemically mutilated under the guise of gender-affirming care. And then the third reason is the rapid DNA testing and the intensity he's put on the border to stop children being sold into trafficking, which is something that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris took away while they were in office. We have so many other things going on right now other than just war and money. We need to worry about our own citizens in addition to helping when we can, which is what we're doing. I don't understand why people think it's okay that we're unaliving our own children, 4,000 every single day. It's also racist. Planned Parenthood is rooted in racism. Margaret Sanger was a eugenicist and a Triple K member.
That is
it's on the Planned Parenthood website.
I don't
go
care.
look it up. It's on the Planned Parenthood. You should care.
It's
because if you
no.
care,
What I'm saying is
we would have 40 million more black people walking this planet. 40 million more black people walking this planet.
To draw a straw man on Planned Parenthood to frame them as like racist or like ethnically cleansing America through abortions is like wildly naive and dangerous.
Why can't you go on the Planned Parenthood website and read it yourself?
Does it say that our goal is to cleanse America of black people?
Margaret Sanger, yes. Look up the history.
They don't base it on Margaret Sanger. She may have found it, but she didn't.
Exactly. She may have found it, but that doesn't mean that Planned Parenthood doesn't provide, like very essential, things like sex, like pregnancy testing. There's 79%
of low-income communities. Why do we have 79% of all Planned Parenthoods in black communities? Can you explain that to me? Crickets.
You said that 70% of all Planned Parenthoods are in black. 79%.
79%.
I'm hearing that's not true.
I don't have camera access on this account, but it is. Oh my God. I'm not going to speak on something that I haven't researched.
79% of Planned.
Well, what we shouldn't be doing is speak. Hold on. Hold on. This isn't right to be speaking on the black experience and who's being targeted when we don't have a black person up here to represent it. We as white people will never sit there. No, because we as white people are never going to be able to sit there and say what effect it has on us.
Yeah, who said I was
because
white
we are not black. No.
Who said I was
Because,
white, first of all?
are you black?
I'm mixed.
Okay. And when I talk to black people, they will
I'm
tell
half
you
Moroccan,
otherwise
half
from
Native
your opinion. So
American.
I want to move away from the abortion topic
Of
because we
course
as
you do.
men should not have an opinion on
Yeah,
abortion.
it's
Are
really
you
not my place.
serious?
Yeah, it's not my
Yes, I
Men
am
place.
should
dead
have an
serious.
opinion?
No, men
They can
should
have an
not have
opinion.
an
You
They
don't
shouldn't
opinion.
have a
care what
say.
you don't care what women do with your
No, I
children?
don't because it's not my fucking body. I will never have the risk
It's
of
not the woman's
pregnancy.
body
It
either.
will never, it is to the woman's body. It is her
Okay,
body that
then
has
answer
to
this.
take on that pregnancy. It is the
We're gonna
woman's
argue
body
bodily
who has to
autonomy,
take
then
on
you
the
need to
risk.
answer
It
the
is the
question.
woman's body who gets drained.
And
It is the
screaming.
woman who potentially
Drained?
could die as a result of this
Oh my
thing.
Okay,
god.
beyond
You're
the,
using the no, I want
let's
to
not.
respond to him.
Hold on. This is my show. Okay,
So I can't respond.
give me a second here. I don't want to have the discussion on abortion on my show. I have had this discussion. I don't think that it
I'm
is
sure you
my
don't.
place. I don't think it is my place. I think that abortion is a wedge topic meant to get people to argue and distract them from what's
Oh
actually
my god.
actually wrong, like that's going on. Things like
You
our
don't think what we're doing is wrong?
can you please be like respectful? I'm trying to be
I'm
respectful. I'm
I'm
using a very
sorry
calm
if I
tone.
hurt your feelings.
There it is. Every
Yeah.
fucking time.
The disrespect is wild. What I'm saying though is that we have, you know, like a terrible education situation. We have
do you
economy
mean?
situation that's going on. We have, what do you mean? Did you know like the average like reading age of or like a level of 18-year-olds is like 6th grade? Did you know that?
Yes, I'm a teacher.
Okay, that's bad, right? Would you
Yes.
agree? Okay, so the
Yes.
abortion topic
Yes.
to me is something that detracts from like realistic, like actual things that we can, you know, not just sit and squabble about, things that we could actually, you know, get to an agreement on and actually address, right? Like education. And I think that education works hand in hand with perhaps preventing abortions even. You know that since Roe v. Wade actually was overturned, more abortions have been happening. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I know that.
So are you are for
But can I
more?
ask-
Are you for more abortions then?
No, I'm an abortion abolitionist.
Okay, then why are you supporting something that has increased abortions?
Because it's one step closer to officially ending it at all.
Increasing it
There's no
is stepping closer to
So
ending
it's
it.
not increasing it. I'm saying the restrictions that are put in place are one step closer to stopping this. And I want to ask a question because you want to argue bodily
There
autonomy.
were restrictions
Can
that
you
were in
tell me-
place with
let
Roe
me-
v. Wade.
Please let me. You don't want to hear the question.
Well, I don't want to get into like the topic of whether or not it's bodily autonomy or anything
I'm
that
sure
like
you don't.
yeah, it's not my place. I don't have a uterus, right? I don't have the lived
So I
experience
can't ask a
or
question.
the potential to be like graped and impregnated. If I did have that, maybe then I would have more of a say in these type of things. But I think that should be discussed by people that it directly affects. And by directly, I mean physically.
I'd like to ask a question, and then we
Okay,
can move
sure.
on from this conversation.
Okay.
During a D&E abortion, whose arms, legs, and head are dismembered?
What part of he didn't want to have the abortion discussion are you not
I
understanding?
literally said I wanted to ask one question. He said yes, and then I said, and then we can move on. So this is the one question that I wanted answered, which he literally just said yes, I could ask.
Okay, you asked the question, and I
During a
refuse. I
D&E
don't want to. I don't want to engage in this like conversation. So
there's
please
only two choices.
Okay, Kenzie, do you mind like respecting the boundary that I set?
Sure.
Okay, so please respect it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So Beyond all of this, you admitted that you voted for Trump for 3 reasons.
Admitted.
Okay, you said that you voted for Trump for 3 reasons, and I think that is interesting, to say the least. I wonder why you didn't like look at the like holistic version of what Trump could have brought, right? You know, like Biden is a Catholic, and Catholics are largely against, you know, like abortion, but Biden understood, you know, like that it's not necessarily up to him, and also that you know, that's a religious take, a modern religious take, that is not necessarily rooted in the Bible whatsoever. But there's
What's
other
not rooted
things.
in the
There's a
Bible?
lot of things that we could be, you know, like voting for a person on, and I just wonder why you didn't like look at other things like the economy, Trump's history as, you know, like a felon, that you also, you know, agreed that was a thing. The allegations
I don't
that
care
Trump
about
has,
money.
a felon like is not just about money, it's about breaking the law, right? So if you don't follow the law, what is to stop you from doing things that are
You would
unconstitutional?
have to ask.
Which
You would have to ask the. So you're saying he shouldn't be president because he's a convicted felon. That's why he shouldn't be
well,
president.
can convicted felons vote?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. So why would we elect a convicted felon?
So we're upset because of the
I
potential
I
crimes
don't
that he's committed.
necessarily
However,
even
we're
care
not
actually about the legality of it all.
and you don't want the answer. I get it.
Well, I guess let me clarify. So when I think of a convicted felon, right, I think that this person does not have respect for the law. And that is exemplified multiple times over by Trump's actions, both in the past and currently. For instance, he's done so many things that are unconstitutional that any other president, if they didn't have this like cult of personality following them, would be impeached and removed from office for. And I think, oh, thank you.
Not a cult.
Yeah,
It's not a cult.
I just call it a cult of personality because the whims of the people that support him seem to change with his whims, and if his like identity and like preferences are your preferences, not yours like specifically, but like followers, that is reflective of a cult of personality because you are no longer an individual yourself. You are basing your whole identity off of another person.
My entire
that's why I
identity
call it
is
a
based
cult
off
of.
of my support for Trump.
He didn't say that.
I wasn't
That's literally
speaking
what
about.
you just said.
I wasn't saying like you like specifically. I'm just saying like a large
Then why are you
amount of his supporters. Beyond that, though,
okay? But like,
it's a mess, right? It's a
I
mess.
understand.
Do you agree that it's a mess, or do you disagree?
And I disagree that it's a mess
Why?
because there are other things going on that take precedence over making everybody happy at the same time. Regardless of who's in office, half of America is going to hate them. And I feel like it's gotten so extreme the way that these people have retaliated against him, tried to unalive him twice, the support that the left had in Charlie Kirk being unalived. I
What
think
does
we're
Charlie Kirk have
celebrating.
anything to do with Trump? I don't understand.
Do you know who he is?
Yeah, and he's not
And anything that he did.
He was not in any administrative position. He was a supporter.
No, he wasn't. He didn't need to be.
But yeah, I don't understand why our conversation about the leader of the free world the United States of America, why anything with Charlie Kirk has anything to do with that, other
Because
than maybe
he
like
played
pew
a
pew
pivotal
control.
role in.
I feel like you just wanted to bring up Charlie Kirk to like get some sort of like emotional response.
No, I didn't. I was including it in what I was talking about and how the left celebrates death.
We didn't
That's what I'm
celebrate it,
talking about.
man. That's a misnomer.
Because
You were showed we were celebrating it, but we didn't celebrate
interrupted.
it. Nobody
So
celebrated it.
when Robert Mueller just recently passed away and Trump tweeted good, that he was a bad man and that the world is better off without him, is that not celebrating the death of Robert Mueller?
That one comment isn't going to account
The
for all of the shit
apologetics
going
is
on.
wild. The apologetics
I'm not
are
apologetic.
wild.
That isn't apologetic because you
I still
literally just made
haven't been
that
able to
claim about
finish a
individuals.
complete fucking sentence. No, if y'all want to have a conversation, let's have a conversation.
You
But
just
the
made that
things that
claim
I
about
want to talk
individuals.
about are getting shit on. We don't want to talk about AV. Okay, fine. Then we move on to the next thing. Oh, we don't want to talk about that. Okay, then we move on to the next thing. What do you want to have a conversation about? Because in my opinion,
I want to. I literally have like the three things.
And interrupted.
You asked a
Yeah,
question and I'm answering.
We started with the first thing. We can move on to the second thing if you want.
Well, you said you disagree it's a mess, and then you started talking about Charlie Kirk. You said, "Oh, so your point was
I said
that
one thing
that the
and
left,
now you're like,
the
oh
left
God,
is obsessed
she's
with.
bringing him up.
So the left is obsessed with death. I'm sorry,
No,
but
the left
can you
celebrates it.
celebrates
No, we
it?
don't.
And then I asked you if Trump celebrating the death of Robert Mueller is bad, and you said that that's just like one comment and like you ran apologetics for
one
it.
comment versus, and then I was interrupted. But it's fine. We can move on. Let's talk about the LGBTQ community.
Sure. Do you think accepting it is good?
Think no.
Why?
I don't think it's good. I think that these people have launched a campaign to blur the boundaries in our society. For example, the fact that they put the Transgender Day of Visibility on Easter specifically targets people that are religious.
Okay.
Ma'am, Easter changes every year.
Yeah, did you know that the day of Easter changes every year, right?
Yes.
The Transgender Day of Visibility doesn't. So actually Easter just happened to fall.
I haven't been able to finish a sentence.
But when you make a false claim, it's
not a false claim. I haven't finished.
You're presenting misinformation, though. You're saying that the Transgender Day of Visibility was like you're implying that it was purposely placed on Easter and that's somehow disrespectful.
It's not
the first one. The first one was on Easter. And everyone's like, "Don't you know Easter's on a different day?" Yes, but the first one was put on that day.
Thank you.
To directly, target people that are religious in this country.
Can you substantiate that?
Do you not believe that Joe Biden put the first Transgender Day of Visibility on Easter?
No, I don't believe
that
that was a purposeful thing. I think that they just set a date and that Easter
happened to fall on that date.
Yeah, it falls on many different dates. One time Easter was on my brother's birthday.
Ma'am, he's Catholic.
I know.
Was my brother's birthday
on the same day every year?
Was my brother's birthday like disrespectful?
Easter is not on the same day. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. There's this whole component to this conversation where I have to be able to finish a complete thought without you interrupting me, without you interrupting me. And y'all know I don't give a fuck about what people write in the comments. But if I could please at least just be able to explain one thing, that would be really helpful to the conversation and everybody listening. Is it possible for me to have 60
Is it
seconds?
all right if I stop you if you say something that I would consider misinformation or disinformation?
Sure, but then you have to be able to understand that what you did was pointless because I hadn't finished giving the entire sentence.
Okay, well,
Correct?
go on. Okay.
Can I just say something about the whole holiday thing?
Hold on, Jason. I want to let Kenzie finish.
Every religious
Jason,
holiday.
did I just ask you to please hold on?
It's okay. He can talk.
No, Kenzie, I want you to be able to do what you asked.
Okay, cool. So we're obviously not going to agree on what we just talked about. So we can move on to the next part of it, because that was one of several different reasons why I don't support the community. Moving on to the next thing. I think that if we are giving children gender affirming care, because yes, most of my problems with this community are with the trans community, people that are trans. I have a lot of issue with what they're doing. Not only are they misrepresenting womanhood themselves by wearing it as a costume, they're now trying to blur the boundaries of society. They're turning every single routine and public space into a circus. And I think that it's wrong. I think it shouldn't be possible for somebody with a penis to come inside of a woman's bathroom. I don't think it's okay for a child that's a male being raised to have puberty blockers and hormones, and at the certain point, after a certain level of intervention from several different medical professionals, the ability to alter their body cosmetically to appear as a different sex. I think that's wrong. And people say that it's not happening, but it is. My main issue with gender affirming care is that I understand that it is an umbrella term that encompasses many different things. For example, a child that's got precocious puberty and they need puberty blockers. That's completely separate from what I'm specifically talking about. I understand that there's males, boys, that are developing, for example, like tissues in their chest area that needs to be removed. I believe that's called a, I can't remember.
Gynecomastia.
Yeah, gynecomastia.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with that. I only have an issue when we're lying to children and allowing them to permanently alter their body. And I understand as well, this isn't something where you can just like walk into a doctor's office and be like, hey, my son wants to be a girl. And they're like, all right, cool, let's do it. I know that's not how it works. It's a series of events that take place with intervention from a team of multiple medical professionals to come to that conclusion. And it typically happens towards their late teenage years. So I just feel like we're doing things to children that plant seeds in them that allow them to further their own, and I'll say this truthfully, delusion. I don't know if gender dysphoria is still in the DSM-5. I think somebody said recently that was taken out. So it's not technically qualified as a mental illness. And it wasn't necessarily a mental illness anyway, because it was a stress-based disorder because of what's going on with the miscongruency between their gender and their sex assigned at birth. And I just feel like
it is in the DSM-5. Sorry, I just wanted to.
It is, or it's not?
It is.
It is? Okay, so then it is a stress disorder, which obviously stress comes from your mind, which is why some MAGA probably say that it's like a mental illness. And I don't personally believe that it is. I think it's a stress-based disorder.
Not illness disorder.
Yeah, but it's stress-based, which is from their own internal dialogue and experience. Obviously, yes, people are assholes and will say shit about people and this and that, but blending the boundaries of society will only wreak chaos and havoc onto the country, which already is struggling socially. I feel like it isn't okay for people to think that they can just expose themselves and walk down the street during a parade thinking that they're somehow empowered.
Are people exposing themselves? Right, this is misinformation, because I don't believe that Pride
right now
parades...
in this moment, no, but during Pride Month to say that people aren't wearing like lingerie and shit marching down the street is
Man,
also
when you
not
see
true.
that those are in 18 plus areas that are signed up for and paid for, that's not during parades. That's not during any of the things that happen that you're seeing. You're being fed propaganda.
Yeah, it sounds like you're repeating a lot of like talking points that are a little bit
very askew.
Askew. Yeah, is a good word to say. I just like everything that you said, which you said a lot right there, is your opinion, and I think that you are entitled to that opinion, right? I do fear that you're saying that like that gender affirming care on children is happening, like so you're saying like is this like to a epidemic level, and do you also, would you be against something like maybe changing medical guidelines to make sure that we are taking like the utmost care? Like, why do we have to have it be like a governmental ban or prohibition?
I believe that it's experimenting on kids.
Experimenting?
So here's
Yes.
where the biggest problem lies, right? The number of studies done about the trans issue by medical professionals across all medical professions, endocrinology, pediatrics, genetics, basic biology, general practitioners, gynecologists, urologists, all the specialties have done study after study after study. These children don't just wake up one day and say, I want to be a boy and I want to be a girl, and suddenly school takes over and these kids get gender affirming care, and that gender affirming care somehow is mutilation. None of that is
I
what's
literally said that
happening.
earlier.
But none of that is
I
what's
said that.
happening. But that's what you're
But I
implying.
literally said that I can't take my 5-year-old to the doctor that's a boy and say, I want him to be a girl. And they're like, all right, cool, let's do this. I literally said that. You weren't listening. I
That's
said
what
that.
you're implying right now, because you just said that
That's not what's
this is
happening
what
right
they're
now.
doing to children. You said mutilation is what we're doing to children. Those were your words.
Yes.
That is not what's happening.
That is what's happening.
That
And it
isn't,
has
man.
happened.
That is your opinion, but that is not the case.
It's
You are
decreased, but to say
ignoring.
that it's not happening at all, that's wrong.
You're ignoring.
I'm ignoring.
Yes, you're ignoring all of the
Ignoring
medical
what?
professionals that I just said that have done all these studies. These children don't wake up and just go. They have to go through such a lengthy process to even affirm that they are transgender before they're
Literally
allowed.
said that.
Right. So what is your contention? If the medical professionals and their parents have decided this is the best course of action, who are you to say otherwise when you are not a medical professional? You don't know what this is. You clearly are ignorant to it. And I'm not saying ignorant in a negative. I'm saying it for this definition of not knowing. Don't know what you're talking about with it.
Yeah, if medical professionals and the parents and the child are all aligning, what, like, it sounds to me like the only thing that disagrees with this would be you, or if there were a ban, it would be like a law, right? Would prevent it. So why is that? Like, if everybody that it like directly affects, and in my opinion, it should only be between agree, then I don't understand why anybody else needs to be involved.
Because we should wait until they're 18.
That's your opinion,
Children
Kinsey.
are
You're not a
unable.
medical professional.
Interrupted again. Cool.
Okay. Go on.
Thank you. To say that I'm not well educated on this, like somebody that's in the medical field, makes no sense. You can research, right? Imagine that. It's not like thousands of millions of kids that are going through this, which I acknowledge.
Right,
My opinion, based on the research that I have conducted, one child is already too many. Because the child, right? Children are incapable of giving consent, regardless of if it's a medical professional that is saying something about it. They're not able to give consent. They're able to give consent when they're an adult legally. But if the parent is saying, oh, like, this is in the best interest, and then the doctors are saying, oh, yep, this is in the best interest, and the therapists and the counselors and psychiatrists and whatever, they're all saying it, the child is unable to speak for themselves in the way that they're like, yes, I want to do this. And then they're like, all right, cool, let's all agree, and then we can do it. That's not okay. Why can't we wait until they're 18 when they can legally make those decisions about their body?
But
Detransitioners.
But that is what's happening, though, Kinsey. They're looking for consistency, persistency, and there's a third word there. They're looking for this to be not just a thing that the kid is just saying at the time, or a fling that they're having, or some kind of fad. They're making sure this is what the child is before they go through with anything.
Yeah, I don't think there's...
You're making broad assumptions.
I can't in good faith as a teacher, lie to my own students and say that I have to now provide curriculum that's centered around these ideas.
Okay,
And if I don't do it,
then
then
don't
I'm
deal
gonna
with
get
public school children. Deal with private school children where they're allowed to make up that curriculum.
I work in a private school.
Okay, well, I figured that, but that's my
We still have
point.
mandates through the
If you
state.
don't want to acknowledge real children who exist in this world, and you want to harm them by making them not
Never
go
said that
through,
they were harm them.
yes,
Okay,
that's
hold on.
causing them harm,
Hold
ma'am.
on.
How
Do
am
you
I
know what their
harming them?
Well,
self
let's look at
unalivement rates go down when
right.
they get HRC? The highest rate of
Actually,
unaliving of the
the
children,
highest rate of
ma'am,
self-unaliving among the trans community is 5 to 7 years post-transition.
you complained about interrupting, and when we both quieted down, you got to say what you wanted to say. So let me say this. You have to look at the rates. Children who are trans, who go through this, they have high self-unalivement rates unless they get HRC, which is why this entire program is set up for you to say they shouldn't be allowed to have life-saving care until they're
Life-saving.
18. You're telling them they need to suffer through until they get 18, and you are convinced they're old enough to make a decision.
Yeah, the outcomes are that
Convinced.
the self deletion rates
In most states, what is the legal age?
I'm
Is it
sorry, I'm
18?
speaking. So the Dugald's right. The outcomes are that those rates go down significantly with gender affirming care. This doesn't necessarily mean surgery. A lot of the times, most of the time, like surgery is not even like part of it, right? That isn't something until
18.
18
Nobody
or
get
over.
anything
Like
until
anything
close to
before
18.
18, I would say is like less than like 1% or something, isn't it? Or it's a very low number. What's interesting to me though is I have two questions for you, Kenzie. First off, like, what about circumcision? Are you okay with parents deciding to circumcise a child after birth?
No.
Okay. All right. That's consistent. Now, how are you about gun control? Because
In what
do you know,
context? Like
well, do you know
18-year-olds
what
being able to get
okay,
guns?
in the context that the number one reason that children are unaliving is because of gun, like, pew-pewing. Sorry, I got to watch my language. Like in schools. And
Yes,
I think that is a much more significant issue that should be dealt with
correct.
beyond gender affirming care in children that is overwhelmingly positive. Like, yes, we're going to have accounts of children that have regret or that detransition, but the amount of like positive outcomes outweigh the negative in like all aspects. And to not like have a stance on like, I would be more like charged about something like pew-pews and how it's accessible to children very easily, apparently, because it's happening all the time, like in kindergartens and in like elementary schools and stuff. And I don't ever hear people coming in and having like a big issue with that. It's about trans gender affirming care and some trans agenda, which I don't understand. Like, is there like an overarching like community or like organization of like this like secret cabal of trans people that are dictating what doctors and medical professionals are suggesting? Like, the way you framed it made it sound like that.
Well, I personally have survived 2 school pew-pewings, once in college and then my first year of teaching. So
that's horrible. And I feel like that's something that I would take a large stance on.
And I do.
We
haven't gotten to that part yet.
Do you care about that as much as you do gender affirming care?
Yes.
Okay. So good. At least we have some consistency there. Thank you for answering my questions. Now, please justify, if you could, why gender affirming care should be intervened by a government agency and not necessarily by educating or through like medical guidelines, something that that allows for situations where we definitely know that this is going to help somebody without prohibiting them just because it's a law, right? Like that's what scares me as somebody that is in a marginalized community, is when prohibition gets like put on the table. Prohibition has historically never worked, and to completely like flat ban something that could be positive for somebody breaks my heart for that person that now cannot get that, right?
To highlight that, Benny, most of the youth in America that is homeless are gay and trans youth, and that has everything to do with people trying to say that they can't be what they are, and they either run away or they're disowned, or
my heart breaks for those
That's a good
children.
point.
My heart breaks for those children, and I just think that like we can find some middle ground here, and maybe
that's a good point.
And maybe like, you know, look into like medical guidelines, and maybe like put more funding into this type of research, and perhaps there is, you know, like some bad actors out there, and where regulation could, you know, like possibly weed that out, or, you know, we could do something that isn't so like decisive. And I guess that's like kind of where I stand. Oh, thank you, Zach.
Yeah, so I know that everything varies state to state when it comes to that specifically. I have sent several letters to not only the school board of the county that I'm currently in addition to Ron DeSantis.
Sorry.
Because I do think that these things need more attention. In fact, I actually have been trained in several different ways, like how they say that we should approach this issue versus how we shouldn't. Specifically because like we don't have all of our schools with the same amount of like technology and upgrades as we need to. Like we don't have in every single school that I've taught at, only one actually had like metal detectors that the kids had to go through. And literally every single child, even pre-K, were like, if they went through and it like made a sound, they were like searched. Not like their person, but like obviously it would set off anything that has like a binder, an umbrella, like that would be set off through the things and then go through. There's a lot of things that go into like how this would work as well, because not all schools, like I said, have the same technology and have the same access, because a lot of schools have outdoor spaces. Like the school I'm currently teaching at, it's like an outdoor school, so we have like buildings around campus, but like our hallways are like sidewalks. So obviously that causes a lot of issues to arise. Like if you can literally just like hop a fence and be there and like be on campus is insane. And it only takes like one strong air conditioning unit to not allow the door to shut the whole way, and then it turns obviously into a big hot mess. But you know, this is something that I am passionate about, currently live through, have been trained in, and they're changing things constantly, and I think that's not okay. At first, it's like everybody has to be like in a certain like part of the classroom, all like clustered together. Well, that's stupid, because then if they come in, then they can just like take everybody out that's in only one area. Then they have a theory where it's all like you have to be an additional lock space inside the classroom, which would work in theory, but then it's like during a situation, if it's no longer a threat, if it's a drill, now we're allowing children to be in close proximity behind an extra space with the teacher in there with them. And then the other theory that the one that I currently support is the like the true fight or flight response, meaning, and that depends also on the age of the kids that you have. You can't really do this with like pre-K, but like if they're old enough to understand, then they like go into different parts of the room. So somebody might go in the closet, one might be under their desk, one might be in the corner, one might be behind a bookshelf, and each person has something with them. While I, as a teacher, am like barricading the door, the kids are looking for cans of aerosols, like aerosol spray. They're looking for heavy textbooks. They're picking up chairs. And if shit happens, and we like, obviously I am the first line of defense, but then at least if I'm taken out for some godforsaken reason, then at least the kids should be able to, out of unfortunately fear, be able to at least kind of like, I don't want to say like attack, but like defend themselves in some way or some capacity to limit these things from happening. And I just feel like if we really do want to talk about this situation, we also have to take into account the demographics of the people that do this, because it largely is like white heterosexual like male students that are doing this. But to say that it's only from that community is a lie. I mean, how many school viewings were done from somebody that's a part of the trans community? Not saying that we need to, or
It's
sorry, not
like
trans specifically.
like completely minimal amount, like compared to like if you take them all, like
There's
it's
been
a
like
tiny.
1,300 or so, and out of all 1,300, it's only like 5
Unfortunately,
or
yeah.
6 at most were trans.
Unfortunately, there is an agenda against the trans community, and I think it reflects history. This was something that they did with immigrants, like I'm saying, like Italian immigrants, Irish immigrants, Greek immigrants. This is what they did with black people post antebellum slavery, like when they started getting jobs that actually paid. They try to find this common enemy to align people along to vote a certain way to get maybe perhaps a billionaire who's friends with a lot of other billionaires into office, who doesn't know like foreign diplomacy very well, and gets us into conflicts in places like Iran that we didn't really have an immediate and like absolute need to go to. Like I'm not doubting that Iran has problems with America, but to unilaterally send explosives there without going through Congress is odd to me. Like as a historian that has seen what the
Why
other,
are we back on this topic?
because they use the topic of like the trans like topic as a wedge issue along with AB to sway voters to vote a certain way to get certain people into office is what I'm trying to say. Like this is a very well documented thing. That's a reason why they call them wedge issues. A lot of times the issues can't be just like easily decided on. Things like education could be funding for education and how those things are done are compromised on very well. But when it comes to like things like AB, religious matters, or like sexuality and sexual orientation or gender affirming care, those issues are a lot more complex, and the debate kind of goes on and on and on, especially when people don't do it like in good faith or not. I think you're being very good faith at the moment, and I think you're the tone of the conversation has gotten a lot calmer, and I appreciate that. But I think it's important to
I'm sorry, I'm
acknowledge
like
that.
emotional as fuck.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I mean,
Don't worry
I get
about
it.
We're all passionate about these things, and there's reasons for it. So don't be mad. You're
But
fine.
hey, I have like
Well,
a
can I ask you a
ton.
question?
Okay, yeah, go on. One more question. I got to move on because I have like a ton of people that are like waiting in boxes trying to get on.
I know,
And
I'm
I think
sorry.
we've hit like a really good point, and I think that this is like a positive place to kind of like wrap things up. So go on. What's your question?
Do you think that a biological male can identify as a woman pre-transition?
All right, and I'm going to disconnect you because I don't want to answer that question. I don't like to engage in that type of dehumanizing rhetoric. I think that trans people exist and that trans people are people.
And they deserve the respect.
Yeah, they deserve respect, and that we should look at outcomes and not about these weird like like trying to put them under a microscope to see if they exist.
Trying to debate their existence is null and void
Respectfully,
because they've always existed. There's no point in that.
respectfully, I don't want to engage in that just out of respect of my trans friends. I do have some people here over on Joseph Smith, and I think a lot of you guys are friendly. So if you're a friendly, please only like one thing at a time, or like one comment because I do have opposition waiting. So please, Joseph Smith, are you there?
Hello,
Sorry,
can you
I
hear
had
me?
to turn my thing on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Joseph, what was your comment?
Cool. I was gonna actually join the debate, specifically as someone who suffers with gender dysphoria but believes transitioning is not necessarily the best thing to do.
Okay. Yeah, we're looking for opposition only.
That's why I was
yeah.
I am opposition.
No,
That's,
opposition from host, right? Like, so you are friendly, right? Or you said you have gender dysphoria and you disagree with supporting the LGBTQ?
Specifically with transitioning as a whole, but also I disagree with Christianity being inappropriate as
Oh,
you know,
okay.
I believe it's the
Oh,
correct
sure.
religion.
Yeah, we can discuss this. All right, hold on.
But
so what would you like to talk about first?
I suppose basically the trans debate from someone who does suffer with it. So
Okay. Actually, Dougal, tell me if you can hear Joseph when Joseph speaks next. I just tried to change something.
You have a
testing,
horrible
1, 2,
echo.
3.
Oh, now I have an echo.
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay. That was worth a shot. Worth a shot. Sorry, Dougal, you're not going to be able to hear him.
It's good.
I'm okay with that. It's fine.
Okay.
Sorry, it's good on my end.
Yeah. So, as somebody with gender dysphoria, go on.
So, look, I've suffered with gender dysphoria from the time that I want to say about 4 years old. I've always avoided masculine activities and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I genuinely do suffer with this. I have my mirror covered. I can't look at myself in the face. But I believe that transitioning, while that would probably help alleviate it, this is not necessarily the best thing to do because, well, one, it's not in accordance with God, and two, it's obviously the social stigma. People despise people like this, and well, I have no problem with calling other trans people by their pronouns or people who identify that way by their preferred pronouns, but I myself am not.
Can I
really,
ask you? Sorry, I just clarify a question. Which God are you talking about?
The Christian God, but I more so
Yahweh or Jesus?
Yeah, it's actually a Christian God. So I'm not necessarily Christian. I believe in Gnosticism, which is a form of it. So the God of
Yahweh
the material
is
realm,
actually
Yaldabaoth, is Yahweh.
So Yahweh is the demiurge to you?
Yes.
Okay, so Yahweh is not the God that you're referring to. So you're talking about like the overall like monad?
Yes.
Okay. So can you substantiate that the monad exists?
You can ask Christians whether or not Yaldabaoth exists, and they'll give you the same answer. They'll say they had a personal experience with Yaldabaoth, and I believe they do, but, well, you go to the beginning, and they, you know, they say we came from the Big Bang, but before that, what is there? Pockets of gas? How can life evolve from pockets of gas? You need cells that can replicate, and you can't do that with pockets of gas.
Are you
There has to be
a
some
physicist
divine spark
or
there.
like chemical engineer of any sort, or biological and chemical, like a biochemist?
No, but I have a passing interest in it.
Okay. So you're making a very like deterministic claim here. And I don't understand how it couldn't. We have a periodic table of elements, right? And those elements, when combined certain ways, can form things like organic material. And it seems to me that the like proto universe was comprised of these elements. So I don't understand why the pieces can be there, but the material can't come about.
So the pieces are there. It's just the issue with life. You need a cell that can replicate itself repeatedly. So like, or at least like,
Okay.
you need single cellular life to even have life as a whole.
Right. And
Like,
single cell life is usually like a lipid and a few other things that like comprise of amino acids, right? And we have seen and have experiments where we can, you know, see where like that sort of thing is possible with the introduction of you know, energy. Like the Miller-Urey experiment did like produce the amino acids that would be necessary as building blocks for life. So I
Mhm.
don't understand how any of this is like justifying why supporting trans children or adults is bad.
again, I was saying this from. See, you got me out of context here. You started talking about
Well, you said it
religion,
was wrong
and
with
I
God,
I
and
used
I said which God, and then I asked, can you substantiate that God? Because
the natural.
you're making
Natural.
very like concrete claims on what sounds to me like mythology, and I'm a physicalist. I'm an atheist. I am an like I don't believe in the monad. I'm not a Gnostic. I understand what a Gnostic is, and I understand like the history of Gnosticism, even a lot of the doctrine, but I don't understand where like that should come into this conversation other than it's your religious belief and just that.
Yes, it is just that, but there's also so many other issues with transitioning as well. It's like it's not just a one like I say it because religion or this and that. There's several other reasons, and
Well, it's just
like
odd to me that that was the first thing you
specifically,
mentioned.
yes. But you have the social stigma. You have essentially what it does to your mental health, and
The
you know,
outcomes of gender affirming care have largely shown that it is positive to the mental health of those with gender dysphoria. It may not be in your specific anecdotal case, but just like
well,
your experience with the monad, that is, you know, specific to you.
I have. Well, I mean, obviously I've not gone on HRT or anything like that. I've considered it, um, but I.
So you haven't even tried
Well,
some gender affirming, like have you ever like dressed a certain way or like grew your hair out or
I have, and I did present as a woman in public once, and it did make me feel very.
it didn't make you feel good?
It made me, no, it made me feel great about myself. It's just the issue with it is like I. We live in a society where it's not very tolerated, and you have kids going through these procedures and stuff like that when they're not old enough to make their own decisions, and it's just so much stuff on top of it, you know.
Yeah, and I'd say that that's an issue that like that's why I try and, you know, have these discussions, which is trying to, you know, like bridge that gap that's going on, because that breaks my heart, you know, like as a non-hetero person, I grew up in a society, you know, that's very heteronormative, right? And I didn't feel very great about it, but when I finally came out of the closet, I did feel great about it. Like if we're going to talk about personal experience. So
It's just after transitioning and I do understand this, like there's so many other reasons that go into this, but just after going through everything, the suicide rate does go up, and I already suffer severely with suicidal thoughts, so it's you you, you know what I mean.
do you
Like,
have like something that shows that? Because all the studies that I've read, sorry, I'm going to use internet appropriate language, like self deletion rates go down with
oh,
acknowledgement
yes.
and care, like gender affirming care. So like allowing them to express themselves.
I'm sorry if I can't say
No,
the
you're
word.
fine. And you're completely fine. You weren't aware, and not now we're aware. So but the rates have gone down, like according to the studies. So like the claim that you said, I was just wondering if you had anything to back that up, or is that just something you heard, or?
Well, this is what I've been told repeatedly over and over by, like, I was actually told this by, I forget what she is specifically, but she's a doctor, and, she specifically told me this. Like, I was speaking to a, like, obviously, she's not my primary doctor or anything, but I was speaking to her about considering going through the process of getting on HRT and everything, and she told me not to do it, and it gave me a bunch of reasons why I shouldn't do it. And kind of scared me away from it, even though I don't know.
Just as somebody that works tangentially with the medical field, it makes me wonder why they would suggest that, unless there's, maybe they know more and have a better, understanding just because they've worked with you. And maybe they would have an idea as to why they would suggest not going forward with that. I feel like that should be your choice. She's not your primary. I understand that.
She's not my primary care doctor. She's a doctor that goes to the church I attend.
Okay. So is there perhaps like a religious like connotation that's aligned with that?
I believe
personally,
so, but a lot of the reasons she gave were not based on religion.
Okay. I would have to see what she said exactly, because like the resources that I've gathered do not align with what this person is telling you. But also I think that you would be best to actually like maybe get a second opinion beyond just like listening. I mean, if this is a trustworthy person and stuff, but if you're unhappy, like why not explore the like options that are out there, or at least like look at the other, like professionals in the field, not just go with one. Like as a cancer survivor, I was not happy with just what one doctor told me until I, made sure to get a second or even third opinion, which did, like end up getting me the care I needed.
Yes. But while I desperately want to do it, and I don't know if I should, but like.
And I'm not trying to sway you one way or another. I think that that's something that like is up to you, and possibly another professional. I don't know how, like healthcare sucks in America. So like it costs money. And I know that that's like a big detractor for a lot of things, but all I really would have to say is that I just necessarily wouldn't just go by what, like, even though it may be a professional that's a friend or a friend that's a professional, I wouldn't take that as, for lack of a better term, gospel, right? Like I would try and search and maybe get another opinion, and to see if there's anybody out there that can provide you with like well-based, information. Like maybe she did provide you with a bunch of like, compelling information, and maybe this is, it sounds to me like you're not happy with hearing that.
I'm not happy with myself. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that
I've just been told
go on.
Like, I've just been told so many issues with this that, like, obviously, if I went through the process, my entire family would cut me off. It's more like, the process of doing this would kill me physically, and just society would not be kind to me for it, and I don't know. It feels like it'd be better if I just
see. And I don't think that I don't think that you're a problem at all. Honestly, it breaks my heart to hear these things because I relate to it a lot. you know, like why can't we just be what we want to be or explore, you know, like our own journeys without having to have like somebody else's or like society's pressures uh you know, like determining the outcome of our happiness. You know, like I just feel like accepting people and this is meant for society. I think that accepting people is good, and to treat people like people is good, and to like prevent somebody from yeah, go on, sorry.
I guess if it helps, I've just recently turned 20, not long ago, and but people are treating this like it's I don't know. It's more of a mental health issue than anything that it needs to be, I guess, overcome, not given into. Because like if someone, I'm not, I don't want to call it delusions or anything like that, because it's like
You know how you feel.
if someone believes, if you have someone who has problems and they believe that they're, you know, and they wholeheartedly believe that they're Jesus, we don't give in to that. We try to get them help and help them function in society. But with this is more of giving into that, essentially.
Yeah, and like that's I think we're like the root of, you know, my like reason for posting this is like just because of my own lived experience. You know, I had to suppress who I actually am and how I express that like publicly, right? And I don't blame anybody like specifically, but I do, you know, recognize that, you know, society as a whole was not very accepting of necessarily like of gay people. And we've seen this in the past too, like with left-handed people. That's not a choice, right? And I don't think that being like having gender dysphoria is a choice, or being gay is a choice. Just as much as being left-handed.
It's not a choice, but it's mental. Well, this is different than being left-handed. It's not a choice, but it's a mental health issue.
Well,
and
I agree that like mental health
I gotta live with.
You don't just have to live with anything like that. I think that the gender affirming care is the care that is meant to help for those things, and that can be, it doesn't have to necessarily go as far as you know, surgery or anything. It could be just as much as, you know, dressing in a certain way, or even just like, I mean, like talking to a professional. That isn't just like, you know, a church cohort. Like, I mean, like maybe somebody that's a little less involved personally and maybe like objective, like in the sense that they don't have any bias. My heart breaks to hear of anybody that feels like the reason why they can't be the way, like how they really are, you know, inside, is because society wouldn't accept that. And that's why I said accepting that is good. And I get what you're saying, and I get like where you would say that, you know, to come out is a bad idea because you're putting yourself almost on the front lines of, you know, hate and bigotry and stigma, and you know, that's rough, but it's really, you know, it's tough, and that's why I'm at least trying to fight this fight with what, you know, little influence I have. I don't have very many people watching, but at least, you know, to get these lived experiences out there, so maybe people that realize like this is real pain, you know, and it sucks. So I'm so sorry to hear that, Joseph, and you know, there is a Discord that is related to the that you can like actually like message me like personally on. I own the Discord, the Deconstruction Junction. it's not necessarily just for atheists or anything like that. We have people of all types of faiths, and actually, I think it'd be very interesting to have a Gnostic in there because I find Gnosticism very, very interesting. If you wouldn't mind joining, at least then we could stay in touch. We do have like some professionals that are within like the mental health field that are very well trained and unbiased and can maybe perhaps help like steer you in a direction that helps your journey, but you also no pressure.
I might check it out.
All right, Joseph. Well,
I guess I just
go on.
sorry.
No, go on.
I guess I was just gonna say, I guess one last thing. I don't really know if I've really thought about. I guess on the one hand I hate myself for it. On the other hand, I would really like to, I don't know, be able to present as a woman, but I don't know if that would be the right thing to do.
Well, right and wrong are subjective terms. It's up to you, and I promise you that the majority of people aren't the ones that are like so loud. The loudest ones are actually a lot of the times the minority, and that at least from what I'm reading in comments and everything in chats, you have people that support you, and like especially like the community that I run with that Discord, we have like 6,000 people. I could guarantee that like 99%, there might be a few weirdos in there that I haven't weeded out yet, but they would also agree that you're supported in a lot of different ways by people that do care, and I don't think that you should hate yourself for something that you can't personally change, right?
Yes.
Because I did that for 26 years and I'm tired, so just from my own lived experience, that's just what I have to say, I guess. So this is a rough go at it. I really hope you join the Discord and that you stay in touch. My name's Benny Boy on there. You'll see, or if you even ask, like all the mods and everything in there, they're very nice. If you ever just say, hey, Benny Boy sent me this way, I'd like to say hi or anything, you're more than welcome. And you do have support. You do have people that care. I care.
Okay. I'll consider joining. I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, you too, Joseph. And I hope things go better for you, man. Love yourself. Seriously, love yourself. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Everybody does.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Goodbye.
Yeah, bye. Well, that got to me a little bit. Let's see. I'm gonna move back to, well, actually, let's see. People that are still there. I got you unmuted. The Super Waffle, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Can I get your age just real quick?
Yeah, 29.
All right. And what brings you on?
Well, I mostly agree that like MAGA and Trump are a mess, but I'm just really angry at people to my left because I feel that a lot of them sat out the election, and I get the reason for it, but it feels like throwing out the baby with the bathwater. And it just feels, I just feel so angry a little bit. Not like bad, but it just feels like, come on, y'all, like we should have got like, it's just,
I get it. Yeah.
That part sucks.
I get it.
Christianity, I like Christianity as well. That's probably the part that we'll disagree with more and we can debate more. But I do like, I like the love your neighbor stuff. I like the philosophy part of it, but I think that goes with I think I like all religions. So I don't know what that would make me really. we're probably more
Yeah.
in agreement than anything. I'll probably hop off in a second, but
No, I don't really want to disagree with you because I think that you're right. When I say like Christianity is inappropriate, it's more of a bait to get people on, so we can have like a discussion. It is to kind of get a rise out of people, and then I explain like maybe why it might be inappropriate in a few ways, and that might be a little bit offensive, but I agree a lot with the respect others and reciprocity philosophies. There are parts of the Bible that are horrid too, but I think it's possible to parse out the good things.
Buffet a little bit, right? You pick out the good things from the really. I don't know if that's maybe I'll go to hell for it, but fuck it, I'm having a good time.
Right.
I'm having a good time.
Well, I would hope that if God does exist or something, and it's a good God or what have you, that shouldn't
sense
matter.
of humor,
right?
Or she or it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It. The cloud. All right, I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna let you debate your people. You have a good one, brother. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good one. All right, and I don't know if this other person's in here. They came in, but I do have people on TikTok. So we're gonna move on to Danny. So Dugald, you're back, right?
Hi. Hello.
Hi. Can I get your age real quick, Danny?
Yes, I'm 25.
All right, and what brings you on?
Well, it was well bad that the girl was on. You saw me in the other.
Oh.
I was like, bruh. I was like, get me on. Put me in, coach. Put me in, coach, please. I was like,
well, did you have like something that you wanted to say? At least maybe she's still listening.
Maybe. I mean, well, you got most of it. I was pretty glad that you got. It's a hard debate because there's a lot of. It's a big topic. There's a lot to the trans debate. I go on Discord, on politics Discord, and I debate trans because I am trans. So I debate this topic constantly with people. So it just seems funny that they love to like go over to like the anti-science. Like you try to bring up the science, and then they try to go they kind of go more like the anti-science, and then you kind of like I just find it strange that the right's supposed to be the small government people, and yet somehow they want the most to take control of our bodies.
Right. They want a completely sweeping ban on AB, and they want a ban on the healthcare of very nuanced issues.
Yeah, and it's just like it kills. That's why I was like, when I was listening to her, I was like, oh please, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. It's one of those things. I grew up Christian too, so I recently found you on YouTube, so
thank you.
I've been enjoying listening to you. And I joined your Discord too.
Awesome. Yes, the Discord's great community. We got a ton of people that stream in there. That channel that is on YouTube. We have a few streamers on there. So Dugald, right down here. He might even be going live later. I'm not sure. Cool. I am going to be wrapping up soon though, so I am going to move on. But Danny, I appreciate you. So thank you for coming
nice
on.
talking to you.
And you're more than welcome to come on again. It's just we're looking for ops right now. So
I got you. Bye. Have a good one.
Yep, you too. All right, Braden Chambers, are you there?
Yes. Hello.
All right, and can I get your age just real quick, Braden?
19.
All right, and what brings you on?
I was going to debate it first, but then I heard that person that sounded like they were struggling.
Yeah.
And it kind of brought me back down, and I kind of wanted to just say that it really is the loud majorities that really split us apart from each other, and a lot of Christians, they may not understand. I had transgender and explained to me being like a neuroanatomical issue, and how it's a little harder to it's more
it's in the it's
more complicated
sociological,
than
it's
a surface
biological
level.
there's a lot to it.
And I just wanted to say, for like anybody who could be watching, a true Christian may not understand you or exactly agree with your way of life, but they will still show compassion to you, because when it comes to our religion, it is love thy neighbor, and there's a saying that goes along with Christianity, and it's love the person, hate the sin. Basically, and it doesn't mean for us to hate the person, but it's to, we may not understand why somebody does a thing, but to still care for them and to show them compassion.
I think that from where you're coming from, is like really good intentions. I do take a little bit of like issue, not like issue, but like I just think it's like the love the person, not the sin. Like it's hate the sin, not the sinner. That's used with like gay people too. And I would just necessarily ask them, like, well, I have a pretty decent knowledge of the Old Testament and the New Testament. And when it comes to like the like Levitical laws and the verses that are used, to kind of support the rhetoric that is anti, LGBTQ in any sort of way, or just T or just the LG or whatever. It's a 2,000-year-old text that it may have been considered divinely inspired, but it has been translated over and over again. And the way that we live modernly is not like as analogous to the way that they were describing what those Levitical laws were meaning, right? Like there's Levitical laws that say that you could sell your daughter, and that like if you like assault somebody or like a woman, that you are punished to marry her, and that you have to pay her father for the price to marry her. And like these are very archaic things, right? So that there's contemporary you just like context that I think is a little bit sidestepped when it comes to like calling what is a sin or not. And I would even argue that like people like David in the Bible had perhaps more of a modern gay relationship with Jonathan than people are more comfortable than people are comfortable admitting to, which is like closer to a domestic partnership. I also believe that like in Romans and wherever else in the New Testament it mentions like same-sex attraction, that's referring more to like pederasty, which was very common in like the Roman and Greek cultures back then. It was similar to like having like an apprentice or like a squire, if you ever watch like Game of Thrones, right? And having kind of a inappropriate relationship with this younger person, and it got mistranslated or something happened. There's actually a documentary, I think it's called like 1946 or 1948, one of those two, where this translation error came about in the NIV and the ESV, I believe specifically.
I read King James version.
Oh, King James. I think also the King James. Well, it might have been the King James too, where like they implanted the word homosexuality when it actually meant like this more of a malicious type of relationship between an older person and like their apprentice or like younger male.
King James was the one where it was inserted.
Was it King James? Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember exactly which one it is, but there's a documentary. It's called like 1946 or 1948. I can't remember the like exact year. Chat, help me if you can. So there's like just a bit of a misunderstanding when it comes to these translations that it's not necessarily applicable all the way to like the way that, like a loving relationship that I think, like there's a lot of gay affirming churches out there, even trans affirming, they would be in support of, because if if the love is true or whatever, like as people would say, like in a spiritual sense, then a lot of denominations would say that is just of God right there. Personally, as an unbeliever, I don't, like it is what it is. It all kind of sounds like philosophy or poetry or mythology or anything like that. But for those that do believe, I think that there's options out there. Is it? Thank you, Danny. It's 1946. Is the name of the documentary, and it's made by a Christian like group. Like it's not like an atheist documentary or anything. Like these are actually like Christians that made the documentary in an attempt to help explain this mistranslation that happened that has like resulted in this like wild.
I actually was listening to Thinker this morning. She went through the Hebrew, and there was one part, especially when we're talking about like Leviticus, that's talking about familial. She says it's talking about familial acts.
And she's
not even talking
more,
about.
yeah.
It's not even talking about homosexuality. It's talking about or being gay in any way. It's talking about familial schmex as being the immoral sex act.
And yeah, like that's she's way more learned, and she does her homework. So I would like default to whatever she's saying.
Well, and Rabbi Hano says it's more about the act in taking the more submissive role.
In the Old Testament,
yeah. So it just depends on whose translation you're going with, but either way, it's still not talking about homosexuality.
Well, or like domestic partnership, you know, like consenting to consenting adults, and
exactly.
It may be, you know, like it makes people uncomfortable, and I get like, you know, two men that have penises can't make a baby, but I, for instance, you know, had cancer and I can't have children. You know, so like there's other ways.
Sorry for that happening.
No, thank you. It's not necessary, but
I will say we do make babies. We can procreate.
Those that can,
and we do. And we do. Those of us who want to do.
Yeah. So yeah, that guest, Joseph, if you're still out there listening, you know, my heart goes out to you, and I'm sure I don't know, Braden, if you know, you said some pretty nice things there, and I don't want to like, I think that's actually a really beautiful place to end the show, honestly, because it's right. Like we don't want to see anybody hurting out there.
No, I don't. No.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, wow. I don't know if you heard Dugald, that conversation, but that was powerful.
All I heard were your responses, and it wasn't enough for me to really glean other than they might have had gender dysphoria. I don't.
It was their point was that basically society wouldn't accept them, so to like transition would subject them to stigma and hate. So they're better off just hiding it and like swallowing it down and not expressing it. And
that hurts. That
hurts. And they were saying they just sounded very, very sad and hurt. And it hurt me because you know how it goes, Dugald.
We've been there.
Yep.
There's definitely a lot of people that would show hate, but there's a lot
way
of people
more
that, you know,
way more
would
that
show,
would be
that would care for them. Yeah, there's a lot more people out there that care than what a lot of the internet shows. What we see on the internet is the loud minorities that really like to show what they think instead of the quiet majorities that kind of just keep to themselves.
Yeah.
The problem is that when you vote for people that make things happen that harm the people we're talking about, the loud minority, they're the ones who enact the problems.
Yeah. But at the same time, for those that are like that think that there's no light at the end of the tunnel, I'm here to tell you there is. You know, there's good people out there, and you know, just like the quote from Mr. Rogers, you know, like he would talk about like seeing all these horrible things during the civil rights movement, and all these like horrible things on TV, and his mom would just say, you know, like, but look at all the people that are trying to help, you know, like help the people that are hurt and help. And that's what I would, you know, suggest is, you know, don't focus on just the hate. There's a lot of people out there that, you know, are trying to help. Look for the helpers. So with that, guys, I'm going to end the show. Dugald, are you going to go live or?
No.
Nah, I
Yesterday
feel
was
ya.
so rough, and I'm on my back up, and I got banana.
That's still my fault. I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate all the guests today. Thank you all. And hey, you know, be nice to each other, be kind to each other, and you know, have open discussions, and don't just shut yourself off to another's opinion just because you don't agree with it. So, with that, have a good night, everybody.
Night.
Bye.